Welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Ledge, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe and let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party, guys. That is the best part. Make sure you are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. My co-host Morty already dipping out. Real quick, let's say thank you to my6shirt.com, the only place to get your very own The Indian Jesus official merch. Only at my6shirt.com. All right. What is good? Welcome to the party. So this is going to be a fun one. We're probably going to go a little bit long. Because we are in for a treat. We talk about Tim Pool, Timcast, all that stuff all the time. So that's not new. But usually we are using the Timcast video, the Timcast conversation as our base. And we do that because, Tim and his crew are good at what they do. But we don't usually get the opportunity to see, flipped in the other way. Similar to how recently we talk about Vivek Ramaswamy all the time. But it was very special to be able to see him on his own podcast, to see him from a different light. So that's exactly what we have today. Not only Tim Pool, but Luke Rudkowski and Ian Crossland of Timcast IRL did show up on the Fresh and Fit podcast. It was not a nighttime podcast. It was just one of the day ones, so there's not going to be any of that BS, and they are the focus. So I thought it was something we should definitely get into. As always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
Led to the huge rise of alternative media, right? Which is where you guys come in. Because if I want to watch the news or whatever, man, I'll tune into you guys versus like going to Fox or whatever. If I do watch Fox, then I'll kind of do the same thing. I'll watch multiple sources and be like, okay, the truth is somewhere here in the middle between all these different platforms. But let me ask you this, man. You guys had Kanye West on. It's been almost a year now, right? At this point.
Almost exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys don't remember, if you somehow forgot, Ye went on Timcast, I guess it was about a year ago, and this was during his his run with Nick Fuentes and talking about the Jews and all that stuff. This was before he watched 21 Jump Street and went back on the side of liking the Jews. But he stormed off of Timcast, hit the mic, and stormed off, and it was a whole big thing. And then again, that was right before he did the White Lives Matter shirt with Candace Owens. So they are spilling the tea.
Yeah. So, and it was, during the whole situation that he had going on with talking about certain topics.
Yep.
And you guys
what topics are those? What are we discussing?
You can find out on Rumble.
Yeah, there you go.
What was that like having him on? Him walking out. He brought Milo and Nick. What was that whole experience?
It was planned.
Yeah.
Why did he walk out?
Yeah.
It was planned.
Give us the full story.
Let's give him the full story before what you guys think. I mean, when they came in, I of course greeted them with saying shalom. And they're very happy to get this greeting. But before everything kind of transpired, everything was very cordial. Everything was very relaxed. We were talking about health food. I'm big into health food. I'm big into eating clean. We were having a full conversation about that. We were just kind of like vibing, hanging out, and everything was very, very cool, very relaxed, very laid back. But, as soon as the cameras turned on, it seemed like there was a definite an energy shift, and things changed in a very weird way, which I didn't really understand myself.
What was it like before the cameras came on?
Smart, articulate, calm, reasonable, asking, he was inquisitive, and then the camera turned on, and it was like he just faked it.
That's when I left the room. He was cool until I left, and then he got nervous.
No.
So that it makes a lot of sense that we've seen that side of Kanye where he is inquisitive and articulate and all that stuff, but then we saw it happen on air.
We're hanging out with him, and he's talking like this. So, what do you think about Mike Pence? Right? I'm trying to figure out how I win this presidency. What do you think, Tim? You can tell me how do I win the presidency? And I was like, well, I don't have the answers to that. And then we talk a little bit, and he goes, I asked you a question, Tim. You didn't answer me. How do I win the presidency? That's what I'm here to know. And I was like, all right. You want my honest answer? It's not about convincing people to vote for you. It's about ballot harvesting. He goes, ballot harvesting. Yep. He's like, well, explain that to me. And I was like, Democrats didn't win because they convince people they're right. They just get people to fill out a vote and then have more votes. And he's like, no shit. So we're sitting down. So this is like, we're walking up the stairs, we're talking, we're sitting down, calm, reasonable, rational, dude's a genius. Like, I think he's putting up performance, because he looks up, we have the big screen and we have a news article, and he's like, yeah, Milo, what's up with this? Mike Pence, he's like a traitor to Trump or something like that. And then Milo explains, and he's like, interesting.
That's right. I forgot Milo was even part of that. Even since we had done the debate with Destiny and Milo, and we covered that. Man, I don't know what he thought he was gonna, what was gonna happen by hitching his wagon to Kanye West, but certainly did not work out.
And then when he writes down BLASTS, and he goes, I got what I need. He says to me,
I got what I need. I got what I need. So he goes in there and he wants just tips on, he wants to use Tim as a consultant as to how can I become the president. He has one thing, ballot harvesting, wrote it down on a scrap of paper this big. And he's like, got what I need. And
he's like, I don't need to be here. And I said, I know. You can't get more famous than Kanye West. I was like, you don't need to be here at all. We're glad you are. And he goes, right, but these guys tell me I should. Camera turns on, and he goes from, so before we're live, he asks me about, the media, who controls the media, things like this, obviously. Yeah. And we'll save a lot for him, I suppose. And and I said, oh, come on. I mean, like, there's powerful people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. And then he makes his comments very calmly. And he's like, well, but I think blah, blah, blah. Camera turns on. And then he goes, yo, I'm telling you, man, like, the thing we got with this show. And I was like, wait, what the heck just happened?
It was like Dr. Jekyll, Dr. Hyde. And it wasn't just a ballot harvesting idea. We had an idea saying, hey, if you do concerts.
Who we got in here? Why y'all so quiet?
And if you want to get into your concert, you have to register to vote. That would be a great way to get the voter turnout for your conference. So
they do this.
And that's on the other side. That is absolutely the type of thing that people who want, to combat the low information automatic blue voter is to do things like that. That whatever you're doing that has people already interested in your music, your movies, your YouTube channel, your art, your whatever it is. Tie that into the only reason this is possible is because we live in a country where so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. It's only stuff like that. There we go. We got Gold Holder in the building. We got Zippy the Strange in the building. What do you mean? It's right there. You absolutely can comment on videos. Welcome.
So they do this, though. This is a huge thing that Democrats do. They have concerts, and they sponsor these events in some way where I worked for a nonprofit out of Chicago. They sent me to a Death Cab for Cutie concert at the time, my favorite band. And they just said, you get all access backstage, and you got to get these people to fill out these registration forms. And I was like, done.
And what these forms are is registering to vote. And then those are the same people who wouldn't otherwise register to vote. And then, of course, when election day comes around, who do you think they're going to go vote for? Whoever is giving them the thing that they want. Shout out to Guam Check. Welcome to the party. Good to see you, brother.
Yeah.
I'm at a concert in Chicago with 5,000 people or whatever, getting people to vote. That's what they do.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll add is, dude had a PJ waiting for him at the municipal airport, 15 minutes away, which is not something you can just book. Well, look.
It's not a major airport either.
It's not a major airport. Yeah. It's a very small municipal airport.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And this is it's Frederick Municipal.
Yeah.
There were paparazzi waiting. Paparazzi was waiting at Frederick Municipal. This airport has no security. It's a 4-foot tall chain link fence. That's how small it is.
Wow.
You walk up and you open the gate. You lift the little thing up and open. You're on the runway.
Wow.
So
that actually reminds me of in Trinidad and Tobago. I was down there with my family. That's where my dad's from. And the airport is literally maybe the size of my condo. Literally. There's an entrance, and then there's two gates, which is just a door over here and a door over here. There's gate A and there's gate B. And then you just walk out. Crazy. Okay, word up. As long as you can use the chat. Other than that, I can't help you.
They got a jet booked for this place. If you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, Kanye West is very, very rich.
Yeah.
And here's what would have had to have happened most likely for him to pull this off. He got offended at the questions being asked, storms off the show completely legitimately, calls his buddy who knows someone who has a jet on the tarmac at Mercer in New Jersey, which is where his jet came from because we checked, and convinces them,
Checked.
hey, don't take your flight, which was perfectly fueled up to fly from Mercer to Maryland to Los Angeles. Give it to me instead. That's plausible, but I think it's very unlikely.
Highly unlikely, bro.
So here's how it works. People need to understand. When you're booking like a legit big private jet, Gulf.
Yeah, I can tell you guys all about booking private jets because that's just what I do.
Stream or something. It has to be fueled, and often they can't make the trips. You need a big jet. If you're going to go from East Coast to West Coast, these smaller jets can't handle it. So if your turboprop's not going to handle it, you're going to need, maybe like a Gulfstream or something. Not necessarily that crazy, but it came from New Jersey Mercer. I've dealt with this before. If you when you're trying to book a private charter, as soon as the agency calls the ground crew, they have to wait 8 hours to because there's a rest period or something like this. It's like a safety thing. So they call the person and say, hey, you're going to be flying out. Okay, I'll see you in 8 hours. I had this issue once where I'm trying to fly back, and the pilot said, I'm over hours. I can't fly anymore, so your jet can't leave without a new pilot. And all the charter companies said, you can't. It's impossible. Because as soon as we
shout out to Ray Pass. Welcome to the party. Said Tim likes to flex on us poors. So he's actually talking about the Kanye West situation where he stormed off and was immediately able to get a private jet. And so they're talking about how they they looked into it, and it's not like you can just snap your fingers. Maybe because he's Kanye West, but other than that. Hey, we got Allison Jerkalani in the building. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you.
We call any pilot, he has to wait 8 hours before he can fly your plane. You're screwed. Have a nice day. So, two things. A jet came from New Jersey Mercer, landed at...
Ooh, good question. What would the name be for Tim's private jet? I'm thinking something with Beanie, but it's got, I'm starring this. And so for right now, this is comment of the night, but whoever has the best answer to this question is going to be, I don't know, super special or something, but that's our goal tonight. Aside from what else we're doing, what is the name of Tim's private jet? Guamtech starts it off with the Beanie One. Shout out to Lil Toe says Kanye clone. That would be funny. That would be funny. Welcome to the party, brother.
At Frederick Municipal, fueled up and ready for a trip to Los Angeles with the crew capable of flying and paparazzi waiting at the airport. I think the dude's a genius. I think he strategized this well beyond anything having to do with us. Yeah. And everybody says, well, what's the point? I'm like, bro, he got the front page of every newspaper by doing this. No one's better at PR and winning and controlling the narrative than he did. Now the Adidas guy came out and said he's not an anti-Semite, he's cool. Like, I'm like, the dude owns the media, man.
After all he went through, literally that one tweet about 21 Jump Street, and I was like, oh no, what do you mean the anti-Semitic? It's not like he went on a whole tirade with Alex Jones. It's not like he was in a room with 5 people, including Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes, and made Alex Jones look like the most normal person there. Loto says, Tim's Beanie Weenie. All right. I mean, I still like Beanie One, but not bad. Zippy says, sounds like he tossed $1 million at the company to get a fast pass. Well, that's what they were saying, is that it doesn't work like that because of the times that it's not like there's just planes sitting there waiting. It's not like an Uber. People own the planes and they'll have charters. And even if you own the plane, you don't own the pilot. And so to get somebody there to the airport and to be available to fly and the plane fueled up, that takes time. And so the fact that he was able to leave Timcast and then get right onto a flight is sus. So maybe, but $1 million, if you're flying private already and you have somewhere to be and somebody's like, I'll give you $1 million to miss your flight. Like, no, I got to go sign a deal for $5 billion. What do you mean? So maybe, but probably not.
I don't know what his game is. Maybe he's bored. But he played the entire narrative, us, everybody, like a fiddle.
Wow. I'll tell you this, because I was watching that and I noticed, knowing you personally, etc., and I saw how surprised you were when he was like acting that way. And I was like, something's off here. I need to ask him about this. And I didn't get a chance to ask you last time I saw you. And I was like, but it makes sense now. Like, he comes in, he's a certain way, very articulate, etc., and then he just goes crazy. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? And hey, he's a master marketer.
And we got shit for it, and everyone's criticizing us. And I'm like, wait, what?
No,
we just
the chicken wing. That's a good one. Something. Yeah, Guantech likes that. The chicken wing. Something. SS Roberto. Something like that. I'm liking this. The spruce mouse. I'm not familiar with that. The spruce moose. Not familiar with that one. I like the chicken wing though. I think the chicken wing is in first place, guys. I think the chicken wing is in first place.
Literally conducted an interview here. I even brought up the personal trainer that was connected to the Canadian military intelligence that works in PSYOPs in order to have a real conversation with him about that, which is critically important because what that guy was involved in was some really crazy mind control kind of experiments. We should have got into CIA, MK Ultra. We should have got into some of the larger issues, the conspiracy issues, the bigger deep down issues that would have helped a lot of people, that would have had a very interesting conversation, a debate.
And there you go. Jeez, stop talking, Luke. No, but I completely agree. This is the exact feeling I have for you UFC fans about the McGregor and Jose Aldo fight. I wish we got to see it play out. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a Conor era fan. I was so that was amazing when you get to see that fight. But also, I would have loved to see a 5-round barn burner between McGregor and Aldo, and just like that, I would have loved to see them go into these different conspiracies and actually talk about them in a way that is not just like, oh, well, what do you think? Oh, well, I heard this, but actually from a more informed perspective. I think that would have been awesome, but we didn't get it.
And sadly, we never had that, which I think sucks.
You know, I kind of got a little bit of a different take because if you watch the moments of him getting up and leaving, it's basically he says something and then Tim interrupts him while he's talking, and then Tim says something.
You're wrong. He interrupted me.
Oh, okay. Well,
he asks me a question, and before I finish, he gets up and leaves.
Okay, so there's an interruption, and then Nick says, "But isn't it though?" And then Tim interrupts Nick, and that was when Kanye just got up and left.
But interrupt. So the question was about. Ye asks me, who is they, though? And I'm like, the corporate Democrats and the corporate press.
No,
and
it's the Jews.
And Nick says, but is it really? And I said, yes. And then Ye interrupts me, gets up and leaves.
The reason I think it is because...
Can we actually, you know what? I know this is a long one, and we're going to go through as much as we can, but Kanye walks off Timcast. Get like, boom.
Yeah. I think they've been
In case you missed it, this is what they are referring to.
Extremely unfair to you. I think. Who was they though? We can't say who they is.
Corporate press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking about.
It is them though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
Again, them being the Jews.
What do I mean? Like okay, so how about are you leaving?
And he's gone. So so November 29th. So not quite a year. So that's what they're talking about here. Gontek said, I always feel bad for Ian when Tim says you're wrong. Happens a little too often for my taste. I agree with you, but I think in the same way that, you might see like me and Melted My Media or someone else in the Discord chat, we'll get heated. But it's done with an underlying understanding of respect. So I think that because Ian knows that Tim knows the value that Ian holds, then they can get into it like that. And it's more like their style. Does he suffer from Stockholm syndrome? Maybe a little bit. But I definitely agree with you. He can go a little bit hard, but again, talking from somebody who is in the driver's seat, I definitely am very, very significantly more testy in this seat when the camera's on versus when it's not. Like the days before we fixed the struggle streaming, sometimes we would shut down, and I mean, knock on wood, hasn't happened in a while. But then I have to restart the whole computer and everything. I'm like dying inside. Even though for you guys it's like 2 seconds and I'm chatting and you barely even notice, I am dying inside. So, I definitely agree that Tim goes a little bit hard, but I think Ian's a big boy. Ian can take it. Goldholder said it's so much more than the Jews. The coalition is thick. Well, I mean, I agree in the sense that it never made sense to me for it to be like, oh, the Jews do this, the Jews do that, the Jews, like, that's such a disparate thing. Like, what? I don't know. It's just weird to me. Just weird to me.
They, though, and I'm like, the corporate Democrats and the corporate press. And then Nick says, but is it really? And I said, yes. And then Ye interrupts me, gets up and leaves.
The reason I think it is because what I get from Ye is that he's just sensitive to tone. He's really into like feeling and emotion, and it was getting very heightened, and a lot of overlapping and interrupting was happening right before he left. So he might have just got agitated and whatever.
Look at his face.
Just walked
How long
out.
were you guys talking with him prior?
It's like an hour and a half.
Talking about
So-
10 minutes.
Everything said on that show had been said already.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the article in question about Mike Pence had been up for a half an hour, and we already talked about it. He was calm and rational and addressed all these things like normal. That's why I was surprised when he said these things to me again.
Yeah, Zippy, I completely agree. I think it seems like it's the last bastion of, oh, well, I can kind of find a group that's going to allow me to be racist as long as it's the Jews and not blacks or trans people or women or. And seems like, you got atheists, you got short people, and you got Jews. Those are the only people that are allowed to be made fun of.
And bro, he told me outright he got what he needed from being there, and he didn't need to be there anymore.
So knowing Kanye,
with a jet waiting
Kanye
for
West's
him.
people and his antics behind the scenes, he's very calculated. He knows what he's doing. From the
I mean, I agree with Walter here. Jerkalani's saying Kanye is crazy mentally. He's crazy mentally ill, though. I don't know that he's crazy mentally ill. I know that he has, I think it's either bipolar or borderline personality disorder, which can be drastic, but that's not like how you operate 24/7. You go, it's more like a, and I'm sure you're familiar with these kinds of disorders where you'll have like a flare up or you'll go through an episode. And then, stuff like this, the way that they're talking about how before, which is what they're talking about, for an hour, they were just chill and talking. He specifically said, I got what I need. They had already talked about this stuff. They had already talked about the fact that, when Tim says he doesn't mean the Jews, all that stuff. So this may be true, but it sounds like an excuse for what happened. And if I was Tim, I would definitely be ready for an apology. Hey, shout out to Bon Ziggs. Happy Jihad. Fuck that.
the very beginning, he looks crazy on camera, but off camera, he's well calculated. So
Genius.
just from what you said, I guarantee he planned that from way before.
Yep.
Bro,
Guaranteed.
I got no beef.
Yeah.
The end result of this was I get hit up by the left and the right were praising me.
Yeah.
I had left-wing organizations that hate me saying they wanted Ye to be the enemy. So they said Tim Pool pushed back on Ye. And all of a sudden these people who hate my guts are acting like I did something right.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know if it was his plan. You can say that the whole thing was one big accident, but it ended up being beneficial for us and for him and for everybody involved getting what they wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know what Ye wanted out of it. Maybe he wanted PR. He got the front page of every newspaper, every magazine.
Everywhere.
Yeah, like Zippy's saying, feels like Kanye found more joy in being a hot topic than in a hip hop or rap star. And I think it's been that way for a long time. He was the fresh new thing when he came on the scene with his music. And, I'm not really a hip hop fan, but you can just hear sonically that like, oh, this is different. And so even if you're not a fan of Kanye, then you can understand the value that he's brought to the industry. But anything over time is going to lose its novelty. So I think the fact that he was specifically talking about, oh, I want to be president. He was hanging out with Nick Fuentes and Milo. I think exactly what happens. I think he said the quiet part out loud. I came here for a plan because these two jamokes don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm hanging out with Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos. They're not going to help me get to the White House. And I really think that it is what it is. I don't think it's anything super deep. I think he went there, got what he wanted a viral moment, and just wasn't feeling it, and just said bye.
And it's
How
like
many live were watching that when you had him on?
I think it was 200K.
200K.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's great.
That's
I think
crazy.
it was.
One day, guys. One day we will have a party that big.
It's been a while. I think it might have
I
been.
don't remember those exact numbers, but
I think it was like 190 something maybe.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a smart guy, man. Very smart guy.
Speaking of
People see these public personas, especially of Ye, and it's funny to me when people are like, "Oh, Donald Trump's a moron. He's so stupid," or "Kanye West is crazy," and I'm like, "Dude, you don't become a billionaire being crazy."
Yeah.
Like,
if I necessarily agree with that. I would say that Steve Jobs was crazy. I would say that a lot of people, certainly Elon is crazy. Allison says, can we talk about how Nick Fuentes is a weird incel? I'd rather not. But yeah, he's a weird incel. I think that it's very convenient that this whole he was actually maybe not. I was gonna say it's convenient how this how like incel is a thing, and we good one, Tiffany. That this idea of being an incel wasn't really a thing when I was younger. Like you were just a virgin, and so I think the fact that he has a label on it, and it's a negative label, and he's already somebody who is supposed to be hated, then it seems like he purposely has taken this as like, well, of course I'm an incel. I'm a Christian. It's good to be an incel. And that is, I think that's his mentality with that. I don't know. He definitely hates women. That's for sure. But he's like, isn't he like 17? Like, I'm not going to take political opinion seriously from anybody who can't get into a bar. Gonzag says, done kinds of crazy. What? I don't get that one. Goler said it's always not see versus use for a reason, even when it doesn't make sense. Bingo. Hey, we got Melted Mind Media in the building. Welcome to the party. As you guys know, another awesome YouTuber just dropped his link in the chat. Please go check him out. Melted Mind Media says, I was once crazy. They locked me in a room, a rubber room with rats, and rats make me crazy. What? After this comment, I completely believe you. Welcome to the party.
I'm sure that Ye, to a degree and to a certain degree,
he hates black purple.
He's putting on a character.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, dude's doing math.
Yeah.
And you can't assume that this guy's just accidentally becoming a billionaire.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you want awareness, you want to be seen in the social media world, you want to be known, you have to be somewhat ostentatious. You have to be out there. You have to be kind of like almost crazy to the public because it's wait, why is it like this? I need to find out more about this guy. It's just marketing. Honestly.
Speaking of which, speaking of guests coming in and doing things, you had, I forget her name, some chick from like the Young Turks or whatever, try to come in and
Emma Vigilant.
Yeah. Can you guys talk about that? Because she tried to make some ridiculous accusation, and when I saw it, I was like, oh my, this is what they
Majority Report. Emma Vigilant.
Yeah. What did she try to say?
These guys are like how would you I describe them like the WWE of politics.
Enjoy the party, brother. Good to see ya. Make sure you hit that like button.
I mean, hey, respect, man. Sam's got 1 million followers. He's probably making massive amounts of cash.
Yeah.
But their whole bit is intentionally misrepresenting, riling you up, and then taking clips out of context.
Yeah.
So, for instance,
what all
like
those guys on the left do, man.
Yeah. Not all of them, but there are some guys I disagree with. Some people I think may be getting things wrong and maybe push the boundaries a little bit and being unfair. Mm-hmm. But they are the kings of fake drama in politics for profit while masquerading as smart. And, it is what it is. Good for them. They make a lot of money doing it. I ain't going to fault someone for their hustle. I just don't want to associate with them. But
I will. I absolutely will. Now, I understand that there is way worse content out there than people just doing not great news. But as somebody who is trying to break into this space, the more people like the Majority Report and actually I was going to say TYT, but Anna's coming around. The more people like Emma Vigilant are around, the worse the entire landscape is, and the harder it is for anybody to trust that any one individual person is genuinely looking to do this and not farm clickbait and drama bait and all that stuff. How would I rate Emma Vigilant's looks? Let's pull her up. I mean, she's cute, but she's very plain. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Why every time I'm with you guys, whenever I try to pull up a picture, they always give the biggest one or the smallest one. I don't get it. But I don't know. Let me know in the chat. What do you guys rate her? I would say, yeah, I think that fits. Because she's cute. But she's very plain. Yeah, no.
But so, Sam has been begging to come on the show. And
so she was asking you guys.
Well, no.
to come on.
Emma.
Okay.
When I found out Emma wanted to come, I
Bon Zig with the missile fire. Yeah, girl next door cute. Yeah. Definitely not mad at it. Ray says 6, pretty average. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement.
said absolutely, because we'll bring on anybody.
I kind of put it together. I saw her on Majority Report just saying she wanted to do more debates, so I sent it to our team and was like, she might be a good guest.
Ian, rolling a 1. It's your fault, Ian. I'm always on your side. No, I'm just kidding. I got so much entertainment out of that, and you guys seem to love it.
Sam, on the other hand,
she works for Sam, right?
Yeah,
Cedar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam he's
a hater too. Yeah,
he's intentionally disingenuous. He says things to piss you off, to get a clip, and then he takes the clip out of context to insult you with it. So it's just like, look, man, I'm not gonna go on Jake Paul's show because, like, I'd interview him, I guess, but I'm not gonna go on a pro golf channel and talk about golf. I'm not gonna go on a political drama channel to talk drama with these guys.
I feel like having Jake Paul on the Culture War podcast would be actually really, really interesting. There's not very many individual people who are in culture who are not with, like what do they call them? Like A-list celebrities. So I think that'd be, I mean, I take his point that, he wants to stay in his lane, but I would definitely want to see that. Oh, and we do have our running poll, guys. Pick one. This is going to matter. Pick one: ice skating or surfing. Ice skating or surfing. If you're in the replay gang, let me know in the comments below.
When Emma wanted to come on, I said, okay, let's roll. But sure enough, she plays the exact same game he does. We're having a real conversation, and halfway through, she accuses us of like being Nazis or whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, and literally out of nowhere, there was a little lull, and she wasn't really getting any digs in. And so she's like, so why don't neo-Nazis like your show? What? Like, and good on Tim for calling it out and being like, see, that's the bullshit. That's the bullshit. That's why Sam is blacklisted, because you know exactly what you're doing with that question. Exactly the same thing that Lance from Surfs TV was doing with when they were talking about Jazz Jennings. Like, why do you care about what's in people's pants? It's exactly the same thing. It's an emotional argument when you have nothing else to say. Ray Pez said, I want to see a beanie boxing match against one of the Paul brothers. I would pay for that. I would definitely pay for that.
And then I'm just like, here we go.
Because some dude had a portion of the
screen
show,
grab.
a screen grab of your show when a certain guest was on, right? If I'm not mistaken.
So the shooter in Texas had 4 screen grabs of one guest and was quoting one guest.
Yeah.
For some political reason. She then tries claiming we inspire terrorist, white supremacist shooters and things like that. And I'm just like, see, this is what I'm talking about. You guys, if you want to come in and take a folding chair and talk about the smackdowns coming and banging on the ground, sure, that ain't us. We don't do that.
Yeah.
So that's it. They're the other thing too that's crazy about them is that they overtly defend pedophilic content. I'll try to be careful with the language. Sorry, guys.
Of course.
But I have on Brianna Wu, notorious for the culture war. The other side of Gamergate, things like that. I show these books that have adult content in them they're giving to kids, and I'm like, hey, look at these things, man.
Yeah.
And a handful of these lefties will be like, I won't defend that. I won't defend that. That's
This is the political equivalent of an RP fantasy. There it is.
wrong.
Some of them are sane.
But it's because they know they can't win that argument.
Yeah, win.
Emma Vigeland comes on and says, I oppose censorship. The books are good. And I'm like, you see,
Are you
now I know you're
rights?
full of it.
Yeah.
Because you go to any school, you go to anyone regardless of their politics, and you open that book, what happens? People freak out. That's why when these parents are going to these PTA meetings and these public meetings and reading from the books, they get kicked out.
Yep. I mean, please tell me you guys have seen at least one of these videos. I know that I've shown a number of them, but they go to, they bring books that are in the school library, sometimes in the actual curriculum. Books like Genderqueer, Just the Tip, This Book is Gay, The Gay ABCs, The Bluest Eye, Nick and Andrew. All of these books, remember them. They are there. They are real. Google them right now. They are in your child's library. But then you bring the book to an adult meeting with the school board. They won't even let you read from it, but they want your children to see it as much as they can.
Because there's no human in this country who legitimately thinks it's good when you're reading the stuff about, like, it's basically, adult material.
Yeah.
Well, except for the maps, right?
Yes, for children.
But the majority report loves that stuff. They want kids to have access to that kind of content, and they actively defend it.
Yep.
And so I'm just like, the only reason they're doing that is because they're playing the foil. They're the, or what's it called? The heel, right?
They're playing the heel like in wrestling, WWE.
Boom.
Yeah, they're the Triple H's of YouTube.
That's all they're doing. They're like,
the
look at
corporate
us.
media, the corporate media does that as well, as they're trying to excuse a lot of this very kind of. We got to be safe here because we're on YouTube. Here,
Appreciate that, guys. Yeah,
this very kind of predatory behavior, as there was even mainline corporate media articles talking about how these individuals are minor attracted people, which is just absolutely crazy. It's absolutely insane to see we're at such a level where we have individuals like Jeffrey Epstein who used the government, who used the FBI, who used tax dollars to essentially traffic thousands of children, all with the help of the corporate media, of the ruling establishment, and was able to get away with it for 30 plus years. So this is,
and don't forget the ABC News. They had the story. We have the video of Amy. I forget what her name is. Saying we had him, and they didn't let her report on Epstein Island. Why do we think that might be?
This is not something that's not uncommon. It is more common than you think, and it is more sick and twisted than we could even imagine it to be.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a clown world. Sorry, do you have something?
I just find it sick that they're targeting our kids as a way to penetrate and brainwash people. But once again, man, kids need to be protected. So,
but that's the worst, when these people are making money off of a political grift and defending that because there's an establishment machine. It's kind of
they don't treat it to them. People like the majority report, people like Sam Cedar and Emma Vigilant. To them, it's just the way that they make their money. The same way as if they were working in retail. They don't care about how the boxes are. It's just punching a clock. They don't realize that there are people who actually listen to them. There's people who hang on to their every word, and then those people go out and act in society with others, and then they cast votes, and this all has this trickle down waterfall effect. The more bad ideas there are, the more bad things will happen in society. It's not a hard equation.
Kind of funny. It's like they're on the side of Epstein, I guess. Like that whole machine that was covering up for Epstein for as long as he was doing what he was doing.
Yep.
And now Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail. Now they're still withholding evidence, and a component of what that faction of people is doing is getting these books into schools and lying about it. And then you get these people on the left who are like, yeah, we're going to defend that because that's what's popular or something.
Yeah.
Well, it's an agenda to rob people, and especially children, of their innocence. And when you look at this, it's not something that's just, it just happens here accidentally. No. This is not an accident. It's in the algorithms. It's in the corporate media.
Notice how, maybe last year you would be hearing, that's not happening. That's not happening. There's no books. They're not transitioning kids in schools. And now the rhetoric is, well, it's okay that they're socially transitioning. It's okay that they're reading kink education. It changes to just whatever is convenient for them at the moment. Zibby says, some themes the maps speak of reminds me of Jesus Christ. Try that one again. Some themes the maps speak of remind me of pro-slavery arguments. Say more on that. What you mean?
VH1 was literally talking about how Epstein was a great entrepreneur. He was a great human being who invests in all these businesses. And I'm like, this sick son of a gun was already convicted. I was screaming about him.
Don't forget, he got convicted. I don't forget if it was CP or molesting, but in 96, he got convicted.
Alex Jones and other alternative media was screaming at this man. The corporate media was promoting him, allowing him to hurt more children, which he eventually did because of their support, which is mind-boggling.
Yeah, I mean, you got a slap on the wrist. I mean, the federal prosecutor here, the USA chose to not prosecute him. Only West Palm Beach did, and he was able to kind of.
That was then in Trump's administration, and then had to resign out of that entire saga because he literally allowed Jeffrey Epstein, not for hurting small children, but for allegedly hiring small children. That's what they got him for. Again, we got to be super careful here. And then when he went to jail, he was able to leave jail whenever he wanted, and literally it's just mind-boggling.
Like if
for real,
right
Zibby, for real,
almost becoming wrong is becoming right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Let me ask you guys this. And Tim, we've talked about this, but I kind of want you to get your take on it for our audience. 2024, Trump's been indicted in 3 different states.
Yeah.
Right. We got the New York state case.
Oh, yeah.
We got the Georgia state case. We got the Florida federal case, and then then the federal indictment out of Washington, D.C. So 4 different jurisdictions have indicted him. 2 federal ones, 2 state ones. One even being racketeering out of Georgia,
facing 750 years in jail,
along with Rudy
700?
Giuliani, etc., who actually helped pioneer the RICO statute, which is ironic, but that's a whole other conversation. What are your guys' general thoughts on the situation with Trump? How do you think this is going to affect the election in 2024? I'll just turn it to you guys open-ended.
So this is kind of exactly why we are covering this, because, you know, we generally have a good idea of what Tim. Oh my God, my eyes turning red. I don't know what's going on. But we generally have an idea of what these guys think about this stuff because they're talking about it nonstop. They do videos every single day. They do a live show every night. But we don't often get just the direct question of, in general, what's your take on this? Because we see parts and parts and parts and parts and parts. And everything that we do is about making sure that when we zoom out, we have a full picture. And so as we sit here now, we do have a generally good picture if we zoom out of, you know, what Tim thinks of the indictments. But now that's going to be put crystal clear because he's going to answer directly.
As of right now, Trump's going to win.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that could change. So if you're looking at the polls,
what's his numbers right now? Yeah.
I think he's at like 53%.
Yeah.
I think it depends. Well, depending on the poll.
So Zippy had said before where'd he go? So that's the themes that the maps speak of reminded him of pro-slavery argument. He says, well, pro-slavery sentiment, it was normal. It's good for the community. It's profitable. There's no harm in it. It's good for the slaves. It's just how it is. Crazy stuff like that. Well said. Well said. Yeah, I didn't even think of it like that. They don't have to enslave you because you'll enslave yourself.
A lot of if you look at like the 538 and RCP Real Clear Politics aggregates, Trump's probably up about 1 to 2 points, which is apocalyptic for Democrats because Democrats polls always skew in their favor. So especially if you look over the past.
What was the name of the poll?
So there's the 538 aggregate and the Real Clear Politics aggregate. They're basically taking all the polls.
Pull that up on the back, please.
And putting them together.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Ray says it's nice to see FNF having a real discussion instead of doing the easy dunk on the e-thoughts. And they still, well, I mean, I don't know what they do anymore, but when I last followed them in maybe like 2020, they were doing shows like this during the day. Obviously, you can see it's light out, and they always did stuff like this, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. They tried to act like, you know, they would do this stuff, but, you know, during the day, they tried to teach men how to be better and make money and do this and do that. They would do a 2-hour podcast and it would be, you know, they would have the first 10 minutes be super chats. Then they talk about it for like 10 minutes. Then I don't know if you guys remember when they would put on the Ski Max, Ninja Watchers. And they do like a whole 3-minute thing about asking you to subscribe. And then they go back into it, and then they go to super chats and all this stuff. And it'll be maybe out of 2.5 hours, maybe 15 minutes of actual useful information. So, I mean, Timcast is really carrying the show here. But I do agree, it is nice to see them. Shout out to Unwanted Foe. Welcome to the party. Oh, he is sleeping. Let's see if we can get it. Money, look, come here. Unwanted Foe has a treat for you. He's just staring at me. All right, we got one in the chamber. Thank you. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you so much, brother.
You get it real time.
So they're as of right now, I mean, it could change at any moment, but even the prediction markets have Trump as the favorite. A lot could change, but clearly these indictments have not stopped him. He's beating Biden.
They made him more popular.
And
it's helped him almost.
I think
almost.
You know what's happening is they're helping them to an insane degree because regular people were pissed off about the culture war and how no one would shut up about it, and they blamed Trump. Then 2020 happens. Trump is no longer president. They will still not shut up. And I think a lot of regular people now realizing voting for Biden actually made the problem worse. And
Yep. I mean, the notion that in 2022, 2023, people are still, I mean, okay, but now in 2023, it's time to complain about Trump again because he's running. But when was the period that we stopped talking about how bad Trump was? Never happened. And then that's separate from the idea that Biden is Biden and he is doing what he is doing. That's separate. You put those two things together. I do not see any other way that Trump doesn't win unless they can get his name taken off the ballot. It's just, I mean, they haven't stopped. Quantex says, just wondering, did you get any backlash for streaming the Florida live show? Nope. hopefully, just too small for them to notice. I'm glad I was able to share that with you guys, though. That was really cool. Zippy said, a warped sense of perspective creates strife and chaos for random groups within society. I've been watching European history stuff. Man, I forget how prevalent Euro slavery was hundreds of years ago. Yeah, it's almost as if America wasn't the bastion of slavery, but the country that actually first ended slavery. Actually, were we first? But either way, there's still slaves around, but not in America.
And maybe the solution to get him to shut up is actually voting for Trump.
These indictments secured.
Ooh, that's an let's hear that. Well,
not pissed off about the culture war and how no one would shut up about it, and they blamed Trump. Then 2020 happens. Trump is no longer president. They will still not shut up.
Right.
And I think a lot of regular people now realizing voting for Biden actually made the problem worse. And maybe the solution to get him to shut up is actually voting for Trump.
These indictments secured his.
Wrong one. So he's saying the way to get rid of Trump is just to get him back in office and get his 4 years done with. Is that what he's trying to say? Because I don't know how many people are thinking that way, but maybe they should be.
His second term, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because if you look at the situation, before these indictments, Trump was saying, hey, get boosted. His poll numbers were not that strong, not that good. But after these indictments, after these blatant, clear political partisan attacks against him and his entire life and his entire name and his entire properties, how can you not go and say, hey, we got to support this guy because he's under attack? And if it wasn't for these indictments, I don't think President Trump would be where he is right now.
I agree. Contact says England was technically first to end slavery, but we had a war over it. We cared. We care more. So much more.
In the numbers.
That's fair. I wonder. I think so.
I think him getting indicted actually helped him secure the black vote as well.
Yup.
Like,
He became relatable.
Yeah, he became relatable. Like people.
That doesn't say much. No.
People.
They said it, not me. But this goes back to what Tim talks about all the time when he took that picture on Air Force One of him with ketchup on the steak, ketchup on a well-done steak. And then everybody was making fun of him. But then, poor people who can't afford filet mignon, so they just get the cheapest thing and burnt it, cook it up so they don't get sick. And it tastes like shit. So they put some ketchup on it. And they're like, hey, I do that. And you're making fun of that. You're making fun of me. It's things like that that allowed people to relate to a billionaire. A billionaire. Hey, we got Soil to Soul in the building. Welcome. So good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Eagerly awaiting the skating surfer thing. Don't you worry.
Say that like, oh,
They're saying it's racist. You can't say that.
Yeah, that's fine. I got waves now, so I can say it. I'm finally black. But no, like, I think if any.
Yikes. He's like, I got waves now. Bruh. That's a wig.
Anything like a lot of people, like, typically we know Democrat, black people typically vote. The black vote is typically Democrat. But that mugshot, him being arrested, etc. I saw a lot of people in the hip hop community. Chief Keef tweeted it like, yo, Donald Trump's a G.
Yo, he got arrested by Joe Biden.
Yeah, like
author of the crime bill in the 90s.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on it, Ian?
There's so much duplicity that happens behind the scenes on these situations. I just don't, and unless I can see the software code of the voting machines that we're using, I can't trust that they're giving us honest tallies. I don't know what's going to happen. For a while, I was thinking they're going to take them off the ballot in some state, wait till after the election, and then be like, oh, I guess, but I imagine that would cause riots. They don't want that. Maybe Alex Jones said that he thought he's going to go down in a plane crash, like oops kind of thing, like an assassination attempt. I don't know. I know that the idea of derailing this agenda to move us towards a global order of like a technocratic kind of central bank system is what Trump was doing. He really wanted to reestablish the old ways of the United States.
Hold on 1 second here. This is not doing what I wanted to do. Sorry, I'm trying to make you a mod here, bro, but it's saying no, that unwanted foe is, he's not good enough. I don't know what's going on. All right, sorry about that. I'll figure it out, but thank you very much. Quamtech says, I don't care. Only barbarians like ketchup on steak. Have you ever had a well-done steak of a bad cut? Your privilege is showing, bruh. Your privilege is showing. Zuby said it's also funny the antebellum South was an aristocracy and people defend it. Yep.
States and bring manufacturing, and that scares like the Swiss bank. I mean, I don't know. This is where I don't want to start making assumptions about who's in charge or who's doing what. But Klaus Schwab's been very vocal about what he's doing with the World Economic Forum, about kind of creating a new world where it's a corporate system instead of a governmental system.
Yes.
And I don't think Trump's into that. So I don't know. I don't trust like, hey, we have the paperwork, therefore we're in charge. It just, that's not really the way reality works.
And then, out of Colorado, they're trying to, get him basically disqualified from the election, trying to say that he's an insurrectionist, which would fall under, I think there's in the Constitution, there's a law out there basically that if you're an insurrectionist, etc., you cannot run for, you cannot be a government official or officer is the exact
14th
term.
Amendment.
Yeah, through the 14th Amendment. Now, then it brings up the question, is being the president of the United States considered an officer in the United States?
Yes.
Absolutely. What do you mean? He is the lead officer. He's the chief officer, the officer in chief, commander in chief. Yes. Yeah. And Guamtag, I'm the same way. I'm exactly the same way. All I'm explaining is that when we see, because don't forget, I was the never Trumper. I was right along tweeting about how stupid Trump is, and you got all this money, you got your own stakes, and you can't. I was doing all of that, but so much of Trump's base saw that and took it to heart. Luckily, I found myself on the right side here. But if I was still in the anti-Trump camp, then I would be very, very mad that little things like that really did build up and create the MAGA movement as we see it.
Well, yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So the purpose of the 14th Amendment's provision on preventing insurrection.
That's what I was doing before I got distracted.
From running was because after the Civil War, they were like, okay, none of you guys can be in office. But the funny thing is, it didn't really work out. And then I think it was 1876, a Civil War almost broke out again. And so the president was determined by committee. They didn't know whose votes they were going to count. Everybody was fighting, and they were like, guys, we're going to Civil War again. Can we just figure this out? Okay, fine. Here, you can be president.
Do you think that could disqualify him then?
Disqualify Trump?
Yeah.
Trump's not an insurrectionist.
Yeah.
So it's just like he's not been convicted of an insurrection. How do you convict of insurrection? It's nonsense. That's why the media kept lying, saying it was the reason they said insurrection from the get-go is because they want to and smash it into your brain so they can try and pull some BS. Doesn't matter. We saw what happened to Kerry Lake in Arizona.
And this is what I'm telling you guys about the dividing line. It is all about what level do you have trust for the establishment, especially as he's about to get into talking about Kerry Lake. If you believe everything that comes out of the White House, everything that comes out of even CNN and Fox News, then you are going to think a certain thing. If you understand that the uniparty and the mainstream media are all working together, and that, yes, that is a conspiracy by definition, but it is real, then you have the ammo to understand that you have to look deeper. That's it. There's people out there who just say, yeah, well, they said it's an insurrection, so it must be an insurrection. There's no other way it could be. So the Soul said, my husband is a chef. I accept steak snobness. Try to say that 5 times fast. However, we can rarely afford it these days. Kind of like the mechanic with the junk car. Yes, great analogy. Great analogy.
Oh, whoops. The ballots got printed on the wrong paper. Now we can't count your votes. Oh, geez. Oh, gee golly. And then when they sue, they're basically just saying, screw off. You can't do anything about it.
Right.
So you think come 2024, they're not going to play dirty games?
Yeah.
I think what's likely, entirely possible, is that at the last minute, some state takes Trump off the ballot, and you'll see Ron DeSantis or Vivek or whoever else, someone instead. And then when Trump's campaign files a lawsuit, they'll fight it and they'll lose. And then the judge will be like, you got to get those ballots back. And they'll be like, yeah, bro, the election was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So we'll fix it for next time.
And so everybody, remember, like the panel before last, and it was me, David, Devon, and we were talking about the Biden camp and the Trump camp. So everybody who says, bro, that's a conspiracy, is going to be in the Biden camp. And everybody who says, well, yeah, obviously that was their plan, that's politics, is going to be in the Trump camp. Whether or not they specifically are going to vote for that candidate is a slightly different conversation. But that is that's the dividing line.
I think Ian has a point though, because on this level of like
Ian does have a point.
Stage, letting Trump win would be actually against the agenda, and if he wins, then it's going against what's supposed to happen. So I think on some level, either going to take him out or like you said, make his votes invalid.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can to keep him out. I mean, whether it's this 14th Amendment situation, indicting him in multiple jurisdictions, indicting him under the premise of insurrectionist. If you look at the indictments, they do put insurrection in the legal paperwork. Yeah, they're doing everything they can.
All these indictments are bullshit. They're all trumped up charges. They're all made up. They're all
trumped up charges.
Arbitrary. We have presidents. We have politicians that literally used to duel outside of the Capitol. There's politicians that are still alive today that literally ditched their Secret Service and went to Jeffrey Epstein's island and were never held accountable for it. There's politicians like Barack Obama that literally personally signed off on the execution of a 16-year-old American citizen and murdered that.
Anwar al-Awlaki, never forget, an American citizen. An American citizen.
That kid from Colorado. They were never held accountable for any of those horrible crimes that they committed against people. But we're going after
Hillary
Trump.
challenged the election. Hillary did.
Al Gore challenged the election. Very staunchly in 2000.
Yep.
They were never held accountable.
Yep.
But we're going after Trump because of paperwork, because of evaluation of his property. Are you kidding me? Politicians create crimes every single day, and this is what we're going after him for. He's the most investigated man, and I'll give him this. He has been looked into more than anyone else on the face of this earth.
Yeah.
And they got him for this.
They're going to seize his property.
That's a good point. I mean, I've heard people say that in other ways, but the fact that they've been trying so hard and going so hard to try to get him, and then it's just like clerical stuff. As Bond said, there is no way Biden wins fairly. It is improbable, shall we say?
Property. That's what they're doing. They said he committed fraud already. The judge issued a summary judgment that Trump committed fraud. We're done. He said Mar-a-Lago's worth $18 million. The fuck out of here. That's bullshit. And everybody knows it. Doesn't matter. He bangs the gavel. Now, the continuing trial is to determine whether or not he falsified records. But if the judge already said a $100 million property is worth $10 million, then any record Trump has of his $100 million property is a falsified record. So next he's going to bang the gavel and say, oh, look, he falsified a record. Then he's going to say Trump owes us $250 million for fraud. Hey, that $10 million
talking about the New York charge?
Yeah.
But I thought that was a Stormy Daniels situation. Like the falsifying records.
No. Trump is being sued in New York.
Civilly.
He's being sued in New York by the New York State for fraud. And what they're going to do is...
So they got the criminal and they got the civil one. Yeah.
They're going to...
Yeah, and so as Gold understand, now that I'm thinking about it, the most support any presidential candidate has ever had of all time, that's not even really the only... I mean, because we know that officially Biden got the most votes ever. And then Trump got the second most. But we all know that most people who voted for Biden did it very begrudgingly. So I don't even think that's very strong to say. I'd say you are absolutely right. Yeah, it is global. Absolutely.
I'm going to say that Trump is liable for $250 million.
Yeah.
The judge already ruled Trump's properties are worth 10% of what they're actually worth. Mm-hmm. They're going to seize Trump's buildings. So let's say Trump's got a building. Let's say Trump Tower's worth $100 million.
Yeah.
They're going to say, nah, it's worth 10. We're seizing that $10 million. Trump, you owe us $240 million. They're going to strip him of all of his properties and resources in New York. The judge ordered the dissolution of the Trump organization, which means thousands of employees lose their job overnight. He gave him 10 days to do it.
Wow.
So Trump's got to appeal this. But, dude, when we're at the point where Trump's lawyers are being arrested, and they've been already indicted, when other Trump lawyers since 2020 have been sanctioned to the tune of millions of dollars, and now a judge is ruling Trump's properties are worthless and he committed fraud, the next move likely is to seize his properties. Welcome to communism, dude. Like or authoritarianism. Maybe communism's too pointed, but like it's tyranny.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately.
So Bonsig's talking about RFK going independent. Who do you actually? Let's make that a poll. Who do you guys think he's going to siphon more votes from? Because that's the important question. And well, actually, yeah. Let's go to the poll. So Unwanted Foe said, have yet to hear of any reasons why people voted for Biden that it wasn't Trump. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've heard some people talk about like tax credits and COVID response, and again, they think that they are doing the right thing. So I've heard it here and there, but absolutely by and large, it wasn't Trump. That was all that we have. Soul to Soul said, I still don't understand how someone could be charged for falsifying value of real estate. so many people and professions come together to figure that out. How is only Trump possibly responsible? That's a great point. Yeah, right. Like they have there's the zoning people, and then there's the town or city, and then there's the county, and then there's the state. All that is involved in that. No. Oh, good point. Hey, we got Lee Man in the building. Welcome to the party. Privilege, or you mean good luckiness? Oh, for when I'm talking to Guam Tech. I don't know. Let's go with, what did he say? Let me go back and see what did he say? Oh yeah, the steak thing. I'll go with privilege. Yup. All right, wait. Yeah.
Move likely is to seize his properties. Welcome to communism, dude. Like when or authoritarianism. Maybe communism's too pointed, but like it's tyranny.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, New York is not Florida. Florida's doing great. Ron DeSantis does a really, really great job down here, and so that's good. There's Texas, there's a few other states, but I don't know what happens when some states are ruled by demonic. I'll save the Luke.
I want to say it, but I can't on this YouTube channel.
Yeah, Goldler said, in my opinion, the value of someone's property should be purely determined by themselves. If someone doesn't want to sell, they should never have to. Or another way to say this is to allow the market to decide the value. The value is simply what somebody else is willing to pay. So if you want to put $1 million sticker on your condo, you have every right to do that. But if nobody's willing to pay that, then that's not the value. But you absolutely should be able to say, all right, well, you want this? It's $1 million. But the value of anything is what is somebody willing to pay for it. Sola said, easiest poll yet, definitely Biden. I don't know. Damn, all of you are going for Biden. I don't know. I really don't. I feel like, and again, if you're fans of Tim, you've definitely heard him quote Phil Labonte in the last 2 weeks saying, Trump's bottom is solid. And just meaning that his base is going to be there no matter what. But that means then if you're saying that RFK is going to take more votes from Biden, are you saying, and you think that Trump is going to win, then that must mean that you think Trump's base is bigger than any other voting bloc combined. It has to be bigger than any other or every other voting bloc combined. That's crazy. And we got 9 votes saying Biden. All right. Golden Tech says, I know way too many people who are more jaded by Biden than say he's helped in any way. RFK is definitely siphoning his votes. Okay, fair enough. Maybe that's not a bad argument. Maybe I'll have to switch my opinion. But I want to keep that up and see if anybody hits Trump. Let's see.
I want to scream it right now.
Satanic people who with predilections for
small children.
There you go.
Gotcha.
When those kind of people are in charge in some states, I can't imagine that some of these other states are going to tolerate it or want to be party to whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah, I kind of get the vibe that like some of the stuff
pull
that
up
Trump
the polls real quick on the side. Sorry.
Some of the stuff that Trump has tried to do and has wanted to do, like reindustrializing the United States and protecting the borders, is good messaging. Like some of it can be very good, and it should be that we focus on the message and not the man. It's very dangerous to get involved in cult worship of any kind, because if something happens to your cult leader, you might go insane. So if people are obsessed with Donald Trump.
This is not it.
No, this looks like just polls in general. You need to look up Google search 538 2024 general.
Okay.
So you really want to focus on the message. It gets to the point. I like that Vivek's really hammering on like a lot of the messaging of like how to reindustrialize, and hopefully people don't put too much
back on, right?
538
two times
space 2024 general, and it'll give you all the polls. Now 530.
All right. Well, while they're doing that, did we get this already? Yeah, Golden saying I feel like they'd like some liberal. I feel like some liberal voters, Biden supporters, would rather vote not red than a bad blue. Yeah, I agree. I just sat on it for a second, but I agree. Zippy says, I feel there's enough anti-Biden sentiment that Biden is going to lose if RFK runs. All right, I guess you guys are completely on the other side. So the question is, who will RFK Jr. take more votes from? So if because he's running independent, so we're gonna have Biden as the Democrat, obviously, and Trump as the Republican, and RFK is gonna be independent. And so, it's not really fair to say that, taking votes from anybody else, especially somebody like me who's saying I'm not voting unless you actively earn my vote. But, figure of speech that most people are going to vote anyway. And unwanted foes got it. Thank you, brother. Gold holder. So there might be a vote blue, no matter who crowd who would rather vote RFK than bad red and bad blue. You guys are turning me. You guys are turning me. Lee Man said, okay, your opinion, but the word privilege, however, comes from the root of its words privy, which means private, and liege, which means law. Interesting. Fair enough. Fair enough. We got Stephanie Miller in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Said, I'm really torn. Independent is always a crapshoot. Allison says, Tulsi Gabbard, we need her hotness in the White House right now. I would not be mad at that. The only problem is her skin. It's just a pet peeve with me. I can't. Like, I think I've told you guys before about how if I can notice that you're wearing makeup, then you're wearing too much. With Tulsi, I don't want to see what's under that makeup. You brought up her hotness. So I'm just saying. I can't deal with the skin. I can't. She's awesome, though. I would absolutely love her anywhere in and around the White House. Bonzig says Biden should sit this one. Get rid of Kamala, then come back for Biden Pelosi 2028. Neither of them are going to be alive in 2028. Actually, they're going to live forever. Adrenochrome. Golden Texas, does anyone know have we ever had an independent president? Not in modern history. Maybe like back in the day, but I would say probably not, just off the top of my head, probably not even since like 1800s. So leave her alone. She's been to war. Hey, that don't make you hot. There's a lot of things that make you hot. That ain't it. Okay, so I'm on phone. Said once, I believe. Somebody want to fact check that?
38 doesn't track everything that Real Clear Politics does.
We'll just say thank you for your service, Tulsi. Thank you for your service and everything that you're doing right now.
I think RCP does a better job, but
Was this?
Look, I didn't even check the latest polls. Yeah, scroll down. This looks like it's it. I haven't even checked the latest polls, but you can see Trump's up across the board.
Yeah.
They even got DeSantis beating Biden now.
Hit Control Plus a few times.
That's
Bill,
great.
so
DeSantis was actually behind in some polls a while ago. To see him now crushing Biden is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. What was
Look
it
at this. Trump's up 10. That's got to be WAPO, right? Scroll down a little bit.
Hey, all right. Now let's give him a live welcome to the party, Lee Man. Good to see ya. Stephanie Miller says, no, not Pelosi. I can't see that woman on TV any more than I already do. I enjoyed the short time she was gone. I thought you were going to say you enjoyed the short that I dropped in the chat earlier today. Where was it? Is it gone? It's too far up. I don't know where it was. But is that it? No, I don't know. Andrew Schultz. Google Andrew Schultz and Nancy Pelosi after the stream. Bonzig says independent media needs their own debates. I don't know that would be allowed by the RNC and the DNC. I don't know if that would be allowed. Yup. Yeah. Yup. But yeah, I don't know if that would be allowed.
What? That's premise? Holy crap, dude! What?
Wow.
Again,
guys, Washington Post, ABC put out a poll that found Trump was up 9 points, and another poll showing he was up 10 points. Panicked and said, "Disregard our poll. It's an outlier. Clearly, this number is wrong." And now you got premise with 1,300 voters showing Trump up 10 points. Two of them.
Wow.
Look at.
Oh wow! So unwanted foe has found out there's been 5 independents voted as POTUS. Interesting. Did not know that. Thank you, sir.
Nikki Haley, Biden wins. Look at Data Viewpoint trying to claim that Biden's beating Trump by 30 points. You're nuts. Oh, I'm sorry. That's wrong. They're completely correct. It's California. My bad, guys. Sorry. You're good.
Yeah, California.
Right.
What was it like having Vivek on it? Because I do think he's a
Vivek!
good. I like him. I like what he's.
Vivek like cake. Vivek Ramaswamy. Let's go.
I've watched a couple of his interviews. I think he's a very sharp guy. He's basically like a cleaner, younger version of Trump. I guess without all the the baggage. What are you guys' thoughts? You guys had him on.
He's great. I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he wants revenge on woke people because they attacked his company. That's his story. If you read his story about how he wrote his books, how he
Take us through it. Go ahead.
So Vivek Ramaswamy writes these books about he writes a book about how wokeness and ESG is really, really bad. It's screwing us over.
Yeah.
He launches a fund to fund businesses that oppose ESG, DEI, all that woke stuff. Strive.
The woke culture, which I think PBD has talked about that extensively.
Here's how I see him getting to this point. Kid from an immigrant family in Ohio, smart guy, starts a multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical business. He's probably so proud of himself, so full of himself. Got his ego is up there, and he's like, "I did it, man! I did it." I'm saying this as in
I'd love a Vivek Tulsi card. That would be great.
in terms of endearment. Like the dude made it. He probably felt so good. So his story is when the George Floyd riots happen, he gets told, "Hey, you got to put up a black square on your profile or whatever." And he was like, "Oh,
I remember that.
Sure, all right, whatever." And he does.
Oh, he did
Then they
it,
come back to him
Vivek.
again. Oh, now we want you to write a letter.
Oh no, Vivek is a black square on Instagram. Well, no more for him. No, I'm just kidding. Just
talking about how it was wrong what happened to George Floyd. And he's like, okay, sure. And he writes this thing about we want
as they are talking. Remember when Milton Media and I were talking to David and Davon about ballot harvesting and how that has changed and the mass mail-in ballots. The notion that we're talking about is, when people could just have, their ballots signed because like mom said, or you're not going out to the party until this or whatever. Same concept here. Listen.
Sure. He probably felt so good. So his story is when the George Floyd riots happen, he gets told, "Hey, you got to put up a black square on your profile or whatever." And he was like, "Oh,
now we're going to let me live that down, huh?"
Oh, I remember that.
Sure. All right, whatever. And he does. Then they come back to him again. "Oh, now we want you to write a letter talking about how it was wrong what happened to George Floyd." And he's like, okay, sure. And he writes this thing about we want to be unified. Yep. This country can stand together and we can do better. And then he puts it out. Then they come to him again and say that message wasn't good enough. Make another one explicitly defending George Floyd. And
there is never enough. It is never enough. You give them an inch and they will ask for a mile. You cannot capitulate this ideology. It is based in the idea that there is inherent oppression or whatever else you want to call it. It's inherent. It's part of the system. It's part of being alive. Just by being alive, they say, you are perpetuating white supremacy. So to me, that sounds like, all right, well, I guess white supremacy is here to stay. Doesn't really matter to try to fight it because there's nothing we can do. Sounds to me like that's the only logical conclusion. A bunch of folks said, wait, never mind. That article was interchanging successful with elected. So far, there hasn't been any independent presidents. It's viewed something like that, but wrong again. So there was no independent president. So maybe we will get our first one.
Guys, chill. What the, bro?
Yeah,
I'm done with this because he refused and said, "You got what you got out of me." They started attacking his company. Board members resigned. They started coming at him. And I think that's the moment where Vivek was like, "I'm going to destroy you."
Yeah.
Bingo.
Like, this is a guy who was capable of building a multi-billion-dollar business. Now they're attacking him, insulting him. They're claiming he does all this bullshit or whatever. But he comes out and he addresses these things. Nobody's perfect. Fine. You don't have to trust him.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for me when it comes to Vivek. The fact that he's willing to say, remember when he was on the Breakfast Club and that she was like, "What have you ever done? What have you ever done? What have you ever done?" He was like, "No, you're right. I haven't done anything. I've been," she was using it like, "You've been sitting on your ass and now you want to do this." But the willingness to be like, "No, I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to pretend that I'm perfect. I'm not going to think that you're so stupid as to think that there's anything that I could say that would make you think I'm perfect. What are we doing here? I'm just a dude who wants to help this country. And I'm telling you how I think I can do it. Works for me. Works for me." Thank you, sir.
But I see this
links with George Soros and shit like that.
That's I don't know or care. Like he was listed on I think a WEF website. He sued them because they chose. He's like, "I have nothing to do with this." But you don't have to trust the guy.
Yeah.
I hear that story and pieces line up. The woke thing we've seen over and over again. They tried targeting him, getting him to bend the knee like they do to every company.
Yep.
And then finally he said, "Fuck this, dude. They won't leave me the fuck alone."
Yeah.
So he writes a book about it. Yeah. He writes a book saying, "I've been looking into this. These people are crazy."
I love when Tim's jersey comes out. He's lived in Jersey just long enough, and where he lived was just in that that Brooklyn, Staten Island area. Write a fucking book about it. Write a book about it.
He starts a fund about it, saying we got to fund businesses that oppose this stuff. Yeah. He writes another book about it, and then finally he's like, "I'm gonna run." It. So the trajectory seems organic. I think it's a dude who got attacked by woke people, but he's also a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company who said, "You don't know who you just fucked with."
Yeah, what I like about him is he doesn't seem to take things personally, like attacks and stuff, and he doesn't seem to have personal vendettas against anyone. Like the way that he saw BlackRock and the way it was trying to buy us out, and was like, I'm to create something like BlackRock that's better, as opposed to let's destroy BlackRock. He wants to create a better system.
Ian rolling a 20. When Ian rolls a 20, he really hits the nail on the head.
I think that's a very valuable message.
He's not a coward. He's willing to have the tough conversations. And I was at the last presidential debates in California, and I think there's a reason all the candidates went after him. If you look at the attack, it was very coordinated, and they all went after him. And I think they did it for a reason, because
there's also a very particular reason why, as we were going through the Donald Trump and Megyn Kelly interview, that he listed every other GOP candidate, but who was conspicuously off that list? Vivek Ramaswamy.
He was one of the few people that actually stayed and talked to all of the media afterwards. DeSantis came in, only did Fox News, only did Hannity, ran out. Nikki Haley, Fox News, Hannity, ran out. Mike Pence talked to one person, Hannity out. Other than that, it was only Vivek who stayed, took the questions, took the conversations, and everywhere I'm at, even at PorcFest, the peak of kind of libertarian autism, he's like, debate me. And he did for hours. He stood out there and talked to some of the most autistic people in the world and had conversations with them in a very nice way. Also, he's willing to listen to issues and then make up his mind later on them, not just give you kind of empty platitudes.
That's a big one as well. That's a big one as well. And it's kind of in the same vein, but not pretending that you have answers that you don't have. It is way worse. Even though in the moment when you're like, I'm kind of, bullshitting here and they don't know, they know. And not only are you're hurting yourself by putting that out there, but it is also something that, as we are hearing, is respected to say, I'm not sure. Let me go back and get the right answer for you and learn about it. I don't know everything, but I'm still the best choice.
Disagree with him on some policies, but when it came to the issues of Ross Ulbricht, a very important issue to me personally, he said, hey, I'm going to actually learn about this. He learned about it, and he's the only politician who said publicly that he would pardon Ross Ulbricht if he becomes president of the United States. If you don't know about that case, go to freeross.org, an important case that I think a lot of people should know about.
So they're coming after Vivek for one big reason. It's not literally one big reason, but on the debate stage, the first debate, Vivek got attacked by these warmongers over his position on providing military funding to certain countries.
Yep. Gonzag says the fact that it's revolutionary to have a presidential candidate admit that he isn't perfect, it says a lot about politics in the past few decades. Well said. Well said.
And Vivek's attitude is similar to Trump. They should be defending themselves. We shouldn't be giving out all this foreign aid. Bingo. And they went after him hard for it. And I was like,
Uniparty don't like that.
I kind of think that issue shows he's completely out of step with the neocon, neolib, the establishment, the Uniparty. Because, dude, going on stage and being like, we have questions about the funding we're giving to this country is typically not.
Is it the country I'm thinking about?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
He said he would stop the war in Ukraine. He made very definitive efforts saying.
I think he specifically said the one I'm thinking about so that you didn't say Ukraine, but all right.
Hey,
he also said these countries should be able to defend themselves, and we'll get them to the point where they're taking care of themselves and we're not, paying their bills anymore.
Wow. That is a message that, as I'm hearing it, why isn't every single president on either side saying that? Listen to this again. What a simple...
Going on stage and being like, we have questions about the funding we're giving to this country is typically not.
Is it the country I'm thinking about?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Listen, he said he would stop the war in Ukraine. He made very definitive efforts saying, hey,
this is, I don't know how I didn't think about this before. Listen to this.
He also said these countries should be able to defend themselves, and we'll get them to the point where they're taking care of themselves and we're not, paying their bills anymore.
Not just that we want to give them, but get them to the point where they can defend themselves. Have an end goal instead of just an open alliance where it's like, yep, we're feeding you this. Oh, you're in trouble. You need help again. No, we have a goal to get you here, and then you're here, and then we're done. We can wash our hands of you. That's what I want.
And Nikki Haley got really, really mad. But we'll save a little bit of that.
She's a bloodthirsty neocon that loves every war she sees.
So let's be real here. I like him a lot too as well, but can he actually win? I don't think he has a chance to
No,
win.
of course not.
Technically,
When
yes.
you look at these elections, it's not even about winning or losing. It's about having the conversation. So if you look at the conversations RFK is having, you look at the conversations Vivek's having, those conversations are transforming our society and are very important to have right now. So
And exactly so the soul. Teach, stop giving them fish and teach them to fish.
So I think when it comes to, everyone's like, oh, who's going to win? I don't care. I want to have the real conversation about the real issues that actually is going to have American people think about what's really happening in their everyday life, because they're not getting the truth from the politicians. They're not getting the truth from the corporate media. There's a few standouts that actually echo some truths that reverberate with people and actually have an effect on society. So as far as the conversations, I think Vivek has one. I think RFK Jr. has one. And those conversations about things that we can't talk about here on this broadcast, especially when it comes to medical procedures, are critically important.
Shout out to the
for
pure
everyone's future health and well-being.
bloods. Put a 1 in the chat if you are a pure blood. Let's go.
And I think it's a huge success. And we need more people to run. We need more people to debate. We need more people to argue. They're doing a great job, in my opinion.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to take the Democrat primary? Kamala?
No,
That's
I
what I think.
think they're going to put Biden in there.
You think Biden's going to go?
I think it's
I
going to be
don't
Biden.
think so.
What do you think?
I think Biden's out. I mean,
Who do you think is going to go?
Yep. I wanted to said all these allied countries have had longer than the U.S. to get their ish together. Yet they're depending on us like we're their protective parents. And that's a really good point, because there was somebody else. What was I watching? Oh, I don't want to say too much about it because I'm actually going to use it. But this is exactly it. That people treat the government, whether it's domestically and the U.S. government or around the world and the U.S. government, like they are protective parents. Not supposed to be that. Look at all these ones. Look at that. Pure bloods in the building. So but let's do it without imposing our specific democracy. I think that is important. Wars need to stop. So a pure blood and a daywalker. There you go.
You know what, man? I don't know. It seems like the general view of people in politics is that the only way for Biden not to be there is if he has a medical episode and Kamala steps down, which is just insane to think could happen.
But, well, maybe he's about to tell this story, but if he isn't, then I'll tell it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I think he's about to tell right now.
They'll lose the black woman vote on that one.
Yeah, he's going to talk about Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom coming in, a white man stepping in front of a woman of color is like, according to the left, that's just blasphemy.
Yeah.
Okay, what he's been talking about, kind of facetiously, but also kind of not, is that what they have to do, what the Democrats have to do, because again, they have Biden, he's legally still alive, technically still alive, and then there's Kamala, a woman of color, the first woman of color in the White House, and well, not tech, you know what I mean, but they don't want her. And so they're saying there's going to be a big event. Biden's only going to do one event so that everybody's going to come in and, they're going to make it loud and all of this. And then at the very end, what's going to happen is that, no! And then Gavin Newsom is going to be in front row. He's going to come up and save him. I got you, Joe Biden. Don't worry. We're going to make it. And then the story is going to be, Gavin Newsom, how did you feel when you were saving the president's life? Well, unfortunately, we couldn't save him. But the last thing he said to me was that, Gavin, you are the only one who can be the president. Oh my goodness. A hero. We have to.
But, my advice.
Kamala's been in line too. So
my advice to the deep state.
She's been on her knees too.
You want Joe Biden to have a heart attack on stage.
There it is.
And then Gavin Newsom to run out and save his life. Then Gavin Newsom does a press tour about how he saved the president. And
tell me you watched Tim Pool without telling me you watched Tim Pool.
that's how you get him in that position.
Kamala worked really hard, okay, to get where she is at right now.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah, worked hard sucking them dudes.
she's at right now, she had to really put in a lot of dedication. Okay.
Yeah, she works really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Yeah.
It would have to be.
She went through a lot of scrapes.
I mean,
Yeah, but like, I
Oh
don't think
my
that's real work.
god.
what? Sorry, you don't think that's?
Hey, technically, work is just measured in joules. I mean, we're working just by sitting here
Oh, here we
vibrating.
go.
Technically,
Ian.
but like these
She was a
feminists.
prosecutor before, if I'm not mistaken, out of San Francisco, right? She was the DA.
That
But that's
knowingly
not what
punished
helped her.
people and kept innocent
Yeah.
people in jail for
Yeah.
marijuana offenses.
But how did she get to this position? Because everybody says, when
Sucking
Luke says she
dick.
worked really hard, he's referring to specific behaviors she undertook with another high-profile politician.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that's not work.
Politicians.
Yeah.
That's not
And
work.
So it
celebrities.
depends on how hard you
it's
sweat.
not-
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
Montel
like 3 or
Williams.
4.
Being a-
Guantex said Gavin Newsom is the discount Justin Trudeau for the U.S. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Be a woman and you get stuff
304.
happen
Yeah.
to you. So that's what it is.
I think it's Newsom. If we're going to talk about who's available, I can't. Biden's too.
I think it's going to be Biden, but I think there's going to be some kind of episode, some kind of incident, some kind of tomfoolery that's going to, of course, prevent an actual real election from taking place. But I think they're just going to force Biden in there with another incident that's going to allow the justification of that to happen. It could be war, which I think is a big probability. It's a big possibility. But there's going to be some October surprise, without a doubt, because there's
Always
no way
is.
they could get Biden in there now. Expect some major shenanigans before now and the election that's going to allow the Democrats to keep power, because these people are ruthless and they've been going out of their way. They destroyed the Constitution. They destroyed the rule of law to keep themselves in authority, and they're going to do more things because they're losing the grip of control. And
Facts. How do you not love Luke? How do you not love Luke? And I love that this is basically just an episode of Timcast, and also Fresh and Fit are there.
it's terrifying. It's scary to see what's happening here, because it's very similar to what my family went through in communist Poland, where the government there didn't let go of control and was trying to, of course, just be an outright authoritarian government, which we're going to live here in the United States with.
And we know that if history doesn't repeat itself, it certainly does rhyme.
Can we do the Rumble thing now? We'll
Yeah, we got a lot of things.
Oh, they trying to get.
I want to talk about Kamala Harris real quick, but we got to wait till.
Yeah. So
Chats in the
this is what we're
Rumble?
gonna do, guys. I'm gonna read these chats, and we're gonna switch on over to Rumble. So that
All right, so we'll skip through their chats, and then they are now in the Rumble stream.
asked him and crew about Eliza Blue supporting the lying Andrew Tate victim on his show. By the way, I love to support both Timcast and FNF. Who is they though?
Who's Anarchist Analysis? Never heard of that person, place, or thing. I want to foe, so probably the most civil conversation I've ever seen on FNF. Well, that's because dating didn't come up. Women didn't come up. Actual things about the world was the discussion, which is why they were so quiet.
It's tough to, speak for other people when they come onto your show and say things that you don't understand. You just kind of got to do your best afterwards, do damage control, and be honest.
Yeah.
I think
mean-
if you look at that show, I think we did a good job asking key pointed questions.
One thing I like.
What did you guys think? Those of you who saw Eliza Blue being on Timcast, being on the Culture War episode, what did you? As far as I understood, she was a complete grifter, and her like assault story or trafficking story was made up. I never looked into it because I didn't find her that interesting in the first place, and then I was just like, less of a reason to have to pay attention to her. But if any of you guys know, I would be interested. Hey, we got the Robs in the building over on Twitch. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya. Sammy Miller says, I think Biden would have already died of natural causes, of course. But they realized right away the mistake was made with Kamala. There you go. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. This is the icicle killing of presidential assassinations. That might be comment of the night. Soul to Soul said, just commenting on Luke's thoughts. Oh, right. He's an anarchist, isn't he? Maybe I'm remembering him incorrectly. No, I do believe he does he call himself an anarchist? I mean, he's definitely anarchistic in his thinking. I don't know if he identifies that way, but simple working man, much respect, sir. Glad to have you at the party. Hopefully, we will give you some entertainment. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, I listened to the episode. I didn't even listen to the Culture War episode. I listened to the Timcast episode that she was on, but I was just like, I don't care.
About you guys is you guys bring people on from different walks, people that might not necessarily agree with you guys. You know, you guys bring in a lot of contrarians, and I think that's like good to be able to have that discourse.
We always ask for proof, and we did in that particular incident. I made it. I was on that show. I made sure
that's
I did.
a soccer player, right? Or is it? No, not a soccer player.
No,
She's like one of these Me Too type chicks, right?
Something like that. And like we've been like pretty defensive of Andrew Tate too.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell people innocent until proven guilty, of course. But when it comes to Tate, when it comes to Julian Assange, when it comes to now Russell Brand, I don't believe any of this guy.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it's like their only go-to tactic. They tried doing it. They tried doing it to Matt Gaetz too.
Yep.
It's like, get out of here,
player.
Yeah, nobody's safe, honestly.
Guys, come on over to Rumble. We're gonna go ahead and switch on
That's
over. So rumble.com/freshfree, guys. We're gonna end the YouTube stream here. We're gonna talk about.
Tell me when I can say bad words.
Okay.
3,
Bills.
2, 1. Blast off.
Wait, hold on.
Shadow Realm.
We good?
Good to go.
We're good. Okay, I just want to say this. Kamala Harris.
Let's go. It's the Rumble section. We've been on Rumble the whole time, so I just figured we'd watch it through. But they can't take credit for that as a party. True.
Giving Willie Brown a blowjob for political favors is not work, because all these feminists are like, sex work is real work. I'm like, no, it's not, because if it was, your boss could require you to give blowjobs as part of your job.
If sex work was work, your boss could make blowjobs a part of your job description. Sex work is not work. It might not be the easiest thing in the world, but I'm going to hold my tongue.
So, but it is. And they got so mad at me when I said this. I'm like, imagine you're a woman and you get hired at like an insurance company, and the boss is like, okay, the job's going to be filing TPS reports and calling clients and giving me a blowjob. They'd be like, oh, how dare you say that sex work is work? What's the difference? And they try making this argument. They're like, I'm an insurance salesman, not a sex worker. There's a difference. And I was like, bullshit. If you're a lawyer, they can require you to empty the garbage in your office, but I'm not a janitor. Doesn't matter. They can say, it is not unreasonable to ask someone to engage in a normal work practice. You're a lawyer at the corner office. Look, at the end of the day, empty out your garbage bag and drop it in the bin outside.
How do you argue with that? How do you argue with that? I'm a lawyer. I'm not a custodian. Yes, but it is reasonable to and maybe not right now. You can't put that in a thing. But if we follow the ideology that these people are perpetuating, that sex work is work, and that there's, it's completely just like any other job. Where does that lead? That is the problem with not having principles and simply having positions. You just have a position that sex work is work, but you don't have any principle behind that.
But I'm not a janitor. Shut the fuck up. Empty your garbage. Sex work is not work in the same way. You can call it work in some sense. Sex work is sex work.
Yeah.
But just, I want to shout that out. These feminists keep trying to say that it's like a normal job everyone should be able to do. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You get so mad if your boss required you to do sex work.
Yeah.
And Washington, D.C. is filled with satanic pedophiles that rape small children all the fucking time. They bring them to Jeffrey Epstein's island, and there's another operation happening right now. That was just one operation. There's many more operations using your tax dollars that are literally stealing children, taking them on private islands, and having fucktards, individuals like Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, allegedly come there and have their way with small fucking children. So that's the American political system. That's the
I'm getting demonetized, but it's all right because I'm here partying with you guys.
Hierarchy, that's how it works. It's not Republicans, it's not Democrats, it's not the left, it's not the right. It's normal people versus satanic fucking rapist pedophiles.
What are your guys' thoughts on? Because I wanted to ask this too before. What do you guys think about the Russell Brand situation? The British Parliament sending letters to Rumble saying, "Hey, is this guy making money on your platform?" And trying to get him.
It's more bullshit. And Stephen Miller with the bullseye. Feminists really need to get their priorities straight. And again, I brought up recently how we were just talking about all the trans stuff and talking about how we used to always be talking about Islamic terrorism, and we don't do that anymore. Before 5 days ago, and that was never what's happening to women in the Middle East was never okay. It was always something that that feminists should have been top priority, but they don't care. There's no principles. There are only positions. Get him, Luke. Throb says, never get demonetized. You're brown. I wish the world worked like that, but unfortunately, it does not. I'm talking to y'all.
That's why I just don't believe it immediately. I mean, 20 years, 30 years later, or whatever, 20 years later, they're like, the media comes out saying, hey, can we dig up dirt on Russell Brand? Oh, fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
And then a member of parliament starts contacting BBC and YouTube and all these platforms, and YouTube obliges them.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't believe you for a second.
Yeah.
Because if they actually had something on him, they run it through the trials, and then after he's guilty, make your arguments. No, they have bullshit, which is why they put it in the press, and then they take action because they know the end result of this is going to be he's going to be cleared of wrongdoing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if they knew that they had a case, then they would go through with the case and then base their decisions on the case. The fact that they're doing this, as he just said, is not proof, but certainly, makes me think that this is all they have, the allegations. Why would they go this way and take down his entire livelihood on allegations? Because he's saying the wrong things. He's talking about big pharma. He's talking about this. He's talking about that, even though he's a Hollywood liberal and he's, woo-woo crystal guy and all that stuff. Say the wrong things and they will put you in their crosshairs. Stephanie said, these chicks act like they have it so bad. They have no clue what other women go through. I guess you guys are talking to each other. Fair enough. Why would I care about any of what?
Crazy that they demonetize them for stuff that's off platform.
But it's not even about off platform. It's about 20-year-old accusations.
With
and
no charges.
Right.
Yeah, I would still think it's bullshit if they, if he did something crazy that was like let's say he didn't hurt anybody, but he was at a restaurant and he was throwing bottles and stuff and doing something crazy like that. That's off-platform behavior that I would at least understand that they're like, that's a bad look. We can't do that. At least I would understand the logic there. But just mere accusations and allegations that have not brought charges and they're already, the government is contacting these platforms? Come on.
No.
So what? Luke over here could accuse Hillary Clinton, and they're going to take Hillary Clinton off the internet.
Me.
It's an allegation.
Bullshit.
So you're destroying his career and his monetary gain off of one allegation.
Listen, guys, I was at a political rally about 20 years ago, and Hillary Clinton was there. And she took me to the back room, and Marina Abramovich was there. They were spirit cooking, and Hillary Clinton just had
That's a deep cut. I don't even know who the hell that is.
had her way with me, and we need to demonetize Hillary Clinton right now. YouTube, please.
YouTube,
cut him off right now, immediately.
We have to.
Hillary defiled this human body here.
And
Well, that's enough. If it's enough for Russell Brand, it's enough for Hillary Clinton.
How do you feel about that?
Joe Biden was there.
I feel I need Trump.
And Joe Biden was there too, so he's disqualified.
Joe was there?
Joe and Gavin Newsom.
No way.
Yeah.
I was so confused when they played that because I have the same one, but sorry.
He was whacking it in the corner.
Cancel them right now.
He was one. He filmed it and he saved it to whack off to later.
Russell's innocent until he's proven guilty. That's the way it is in the United States, but he's British.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're British and you get accused, that YouTube might take you down. Is that the way it works now? Because if
I
you're an
think
American,
They probably sent a letter to YouTube, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
If they sent that letter, they probably
Yeah.
sent out letters to every single social media platform. And that's scary when governments are sending letters out to companies saying, like, is this person being
Enjoy
monetized?
that, Rob.
And
Enjoy
advertisers
it.
Yeah.
and banks and everyone involved.
And companies follow suit. If Twitter does, no, not Twitter, but like let's say like Facebook does something, YouTube
Yep.
will follow as well.
When they
It's a
banned
chain of
Andrew,
command.
it was literally
Chain
a
of
domino
command.
effect. It
Yeah.
was first Instagram, then Facebook,
Yeah.
then YouTube, then everywhere else, and then Twitter, and then they brought him back.
But this
once Elon
means
got on
if
there.
they
But
don't like you or what you're saying, it can happen to you too as well.
it's literally a
Yep.
domino effect.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. This whole Me Too thing is starting to get
How
out
do
of
we
hand.
defend ourselves as
It's not a Me Too thing. It's not a Me Too thing at all. At all. It has nothing to do with Me Too. Maybe the fact that it is like essay type stuff. It is not about Me Too. It is about the establishment media. They're just using the allegations. I'm surprised that he even said that. But maybe that's what happens when everything you talk about has to do with dating and women and it's not about Me Too.
a platform to stay safe in these times, you think?
Use parallel economy, launch your own website. So timcast.com, we use Rumble infrastructure for everything. Our website is hosted on their cloud
Shout out to
servers.
Public
Our
Square.
financial transactions are through Parallel Economy. So you guys are streaming on Rumble right now.
Yes.
We're lucky Rumble exists.
We really are.
We put all our
blessed.
videos, all of our content's on Rumble too. But people yell at us because we don't stream on Rumble at the same time. And I'm like,
And just to let you guys know, if you do prefer, I also do the same as Tim, where you can find anything that's ever been on my channel on my Rumble channel. But nobody browses on Rumble. So unless you're talking about Steven Crowder, or you are Steven Crowder, or Ricada Law, or one of these big names, or now Fresh and Fit, you're not getting views there. But if you guys really care about that platform and you're going to watch my stuff anyway, may as well watch it over there.
like, we got 99% except for just the live stream. Everything is there. And we built our whole website off of one company. That's a big risk.
And they'll still complain.
But I want the money to go to them and I want them to succeed.
Bam.
And it makes us safe. So, we do what we do.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rumble, man.
That's
Shout out to
dope.
Chris. Shout out to all the guys. I told Chris this a million times, and Chris is literally like saving the world right now because
question.
if it weren't for Rumble, dude, like we'd be censored
Saving
as
the
fuck, and
world.
there'd be a lot of creators that wouldn't be able to get be able to say what the fuck they want to say. They'd have to water it down. And I think YouTube is kind of seeing what's happening, which is why they kind of lack some of the policies with the warnings and stuff like that.
Yep, they just changed. Remember how we used to have to say porridge or schmashmortion, but they changed that law, and now you can openly talk about abortion. Ray says, I personally like Odyssey, and again, I would post to all of these places if there was growth potential, but there's not. I mean, I don't know. I don't even remember the last time I even heard somebody say Odyssey or saw somebody say Odyssey. And it's just, it's frustrating. 70 says, because Me Too made it popular to come back 20 years later and press charges. They set the precedent for a lot of stuff. Absolutely. And, but I'm saying that's definitely true. But the reason that they're using this is not about a feminist thing that we have to protect women, and that's the guys under. We got to get this guy off the airwaves because he's saying all the things that are true that we don't want people to know. Zibby says, I know it's late and off topic, but I see the comparisons in communism and anarchy. They break down from a lack of resources and stability. I mean, technically you're correct, but you're just saying that's like saying that this lighter and this vape are exactly the same thing, because when you drop the lighter, it drops. And when you drop the vape, it drops as well. It's like, yes, but that's not really what I got to disagree with you there. Unless you could explain it further, and I don't get what you're saying. Soul to Soul says, love Rumble and watch it a lot, but the app functionality sucks. I'm just not watching from my laptop enough and usually have to use my phone. Yeah, they gotta, I'm on phone saying the same thing. And yeah, all these things. I mean, YouTube is just where the eyeballs are. It's just where the eyeballs are.
But yeah, man, Rumble is the new frontier.
No,
think
the
the
YouTube
pioneer was,
oppression is going to get a lot worse for this upcoming election cycle. Every election cycle, they hit a whole bunch of people. That's when they mostly hit me. This is why it's so important to build your own website. Rumble, great. I love them. I use them. I have my own Rumble channel on WeAreChange. I do a lot of podcasts from Miami now on there as well. I'm working out a deal with them as well. But more importantly, they're going to attack Rumble. They're going to attack their infrastructure. They're going to attack their servers. Have your own website. Have a plan B. I have WeAreChange.org. That's what. And
I am working on that. I'm working on figuring out how to get an infrastructure. But obviously, I'm just a tiny guy, so I don't think, both my channel and in real life, I don't think that they're going to come after me anytime soon. But listen to what they're saying. You know what we talk about over here. Those of you who are able to donate, you are the only reason I have faith that this is going to make it. The only reason. Do you think I make any money on ads? It's all you guys. So the fact that you are willing to part with your hard-earned dollars and continue this is amazing. We need it. We need a space like this. And I saw that. And I was looking everywhere. Who's doing this? Nobody. So build it myself. 70 says, "Oh yeah, it's all political, but they use Me Too to shame people for not believing the victims." Yep. Throb said, nice stream. You're just young. You can hit nerves. Anyway, I'm off. Thank you for joining, brother. Very much appreciate it. Qualms says, I really want to invest in Rumble soon. I feel like they're going to blow up in a couple years. That is a good idea. That is a good idea. No financial advice, but I would probably do that. That's a good idea.
Website that I had for 18 years now. I'm very happy I do. I have my own members area. I have my own content. Everything's uploaded. Everything's backed up. If they attack it, I have another way to be supported in another way. But
that's also, guys, why I'm asking for your email. So send me an email at theindianjesusofficial@gmail.com. I will send you free stickers, and I'm not going to send you a bunch of emails. I just want to have it there so that in case and when they come and try to ass fuck me, that I can still do what we do. They ain't gonna take me down. They ain't gonna take me down without a fight.
Multi-layers is critically important, and you guys should have your own website immediately.
Yeah, we're working on it right now. I think for most creators,
shout out to the Discord members.
It's gonna be sweet all year round.
It's
but
not.
The election is gonna be really tough.
Dude,
Even for us, we might get canceled. You never know.
Yeah.
Like
Yesterday.
You already did get canceled.
to really become
exactly.
resilient against being canceled, you need like a decentralized network, like a torrent system where your videos are hosted on thousands of machines at once. And
We just got to make it with graphene.
then if they try and take down, because as long as it's on a central node, be it Rumble, YouTube, anything, it's a vulnerability that can be shut off.
Right.
And then you're going to need your ISP. You're going to need to have a mesh network where your phones are all interlinked. And if 30% of the phones go down, the network is still up because
Read the room, Ian.
Verizon's
He's
also
right,
can just
but-
shut you down.
Oh,
Like,
wow. Are you
yeah.
serious?
Yeah. Any of these central nodes can shut you off or be forced to shut you off. So we
That's funny. Like, wait, what? You mean the government can control your phone? Moron. Of course.
tech is so slow. That's the problem, is when you're trying to torrent a video stream with like 80,000 people all, seeding it, it's too slow for social media in the current iteration.
Look
But
what
I
happened
think
to
that's where
Alex
we are aiming.
Jones.
Yeah.
They didn't just take down his YouTube channel. They took down his Twitter page. They took down his
Everything.
Facebook page. They took down his LinkedIn page when he wasn't even on LinkedIn. They took down his banks. They took down his businesses. They took everything from him. But he's still able to survive because he has Infowars.com.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is something that he's been screaming
Of
on the top
course.
of a mountaintop. And this is why you got to scream your website. WeAreChange.org, Timcast.com. Ian?
Timcast.com for now.
Graphene.
The Indian Jesus Discord server where the party never ends. That's right, 24/7. We are in there hanging out, having awesome conversations. And after every single live stream, we go in there for the after party. We are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. You can hang out, turn your camera on, turn your camera off. Either way, it is a grand old time. Come and join us.
Yeah,
You
well,
gotta
I
get
cross on that.
graphene.com.
I'm just so focused on Timcast right now.
CastleClub.tv, ninjas.
Yeah. So seriously,
Yeah.
get a website.
You want to talk about
have your
Israel?
own.
Yeah, we can
Holy
definitely
shit,
talk
dude.
about. Do you have a link that you want to put
No,
up?
I'm just on Twitter and there's videos.
going
Are,
wild.
No, the
right?
videos
Video-
are
videos
super
of-
horrendous.
So we have a poll.
What's the word? I try not to get too deep into this because it just fucks with my head. But what is the craziest video that you've seen coming out of Israel? Like, what was it? Just I feel like I might regret asking, but I do want to know. So he says communism centralizes everything and distributes resources based on politics. Anarchy does it via local region fiefdoms or gangs. Well, distribution and control is the opposite. The opposite. The decay is the same. But again, you're just saying that like they can't scale. Just because two things can't scale doesn't mean that they are alike in any other way than the fact that they can't scale. Like, I'm with you. I'm thinking of in terms of veins not pumping blood.
What?
You completely lost me there. I was with you here, but I have no idea what that means. But I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I would caution making that connection. I could say both. Like, it is true that with communism, if you try to scale it up, it doesn't work. With anarchism, if you try to scale it up, it doesn't work. But saying that communism and anarchism are alike, because that's a little bit stronger of a statement. Could you guys hear that? I was looking for Jank saying, "Of course." That's what I was thinking. Remind me in the after party. I need another, because I don't like.
Exactly.
I don't like that one. I need another affirmative. We got the bell and the bingo, but I need something else.
Exactly.
I don't like that one.
Post on Real Toronto News of
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, we
Holy
can definitely
shit,
talk
dude.
about. Do you have a link that you want to put
No,
up?
no, I'm just on Twitter and there's videos.
going wild,
the
right?
videos
Videos
are
of-
horrendous.
So we have a post on Real Toronto News of what's happening right now.
Yeah. We'll pull it up here in a
yeah.
second.
Did he
Kinda
just
goes
say
into
his
it
name
really
wrong?
deep
Yeah,
as well.
and then real quick with the Russell Brand thing, I think a big reason why they came after him so hard is because he exposed the fucking numbers when it comes to COVID. And I think Tim, you talked about on your show as well that he talked about how much billions of dollars the pharmaceutical companies and everyone made, Pfizer, etc., off of the vaccines, and how they haven't had a huge incentive to put these vaccines out and make money, etc. And I think that was a big reason as well why they tried to silence
That
him.
and Ukraine. He was very outspoken about what was happening in Ukraine. And if you look at the United Kingdom, their government is way more involved in that entire proxy conflict than almost any other European country. A lot of people say that it was the UK that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline and created the horrible situation that we are in right now, especially with an energy crisis in.
Yeah, a lot of people are speculating as to who that was. Excuse me. Soul to Soul said, for something I've never seen before, that was crazy. The Iron Dome doing its thing was pretty wild. That video is shared in Discord. Yeah, that was insane. I didn't really know what was good with the Iron Dome, and you just see the miss. I mean, well, let's just pull it up. Seeing the missile is just shout out to Melted Mind.
Now we're hearing it again. So Jose, stay with us. There's
Please,
one.
go back to Richard.
There is a rocket. You can see it streaking in the sky right now.
All right, so wait a minute. Let me do this. This one, nope. Okay, so you can see the smoke trail of the missile.
Now,
And then just
turning. There's another. This is being launched from a different site.
I'd never seen this before.
So now you'll start to see the Iron Dome system taking them
Look
off.
at that. Damn, that one was like, it wasn't even curved. Bing. That's wild. That is wild. Because I never really, as we were talking about when we had, the panel in the last show, I don't really know a lot about this stuff, especially the particular. Like, I'm aware of the Iron Dome, but I thought maybe it was some kind of physical defense system or like a bunker, or I never looked into it. And to see that was crazy. What about the rest of you guys? What have you seen? Like, that's wild.
Country. A lot of people say that it was the UK that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline and created the horrible situation that we are in right now, especially with an energy crisis inside of Europe. So I think it was more to go after him for all of those reasons, but more because he's becoming inconvenient at a time where the truth matters the most. We're reaching a moment in human history that's going to be absolutely decisive for its future. We could either go towards the path of total freedom or total enslavement. That
I'd prefer total freedom, but that's just me. I don't know about y'all. And if you would like total freedom as opposed to total slavery, then you can't just sit on your ass and do nothing. You have to do something. But hey, even being here, supporting this show with your time and your attention is doing something. I mean, you could stand to do a little bit more, but you are doing the work right now. You're just sitting on your ass, looking at your phone, looking at your laptop, looking at your TV. Just by being here, you are making this country a better place. Guamtech says, I honestly didn't know that that was how the Iron Dome worked. I thought it was a laser defense system. That's exactly what I said. I figured it was either, like I said, a physical structure or some kind of thing that uses lasers to, like, I'm thinking like heat-seeking missiles. And the laser hits the trail and then it blows up. That's what I was thinking. I don't know. Thank you for a comment by Soil to Soul. You have a fantastic night. Definitely come join us in the after party.
Path is going to be decided after a galvanizing major event that's going to happen very soon. And the person who's able to speak out against it, the person who's able to speak truth about it, will be able to dictate that path of the outcome of that one particular event. So this is now game time. This is the fourth quarter. Seconds are going down. This is a key important moment in time. They're going to take everyone down. They're going to try to control the narratives, but they can only control it for as much as they can. And this is why independent media You guys, everyone else out there in the media field, need to talk to each other. We might not agree with each other on certain elements and certain things, but we still got to set up relationships. We got to set up meetings. We got to talk to each other because shit's going to go fucking crazy soon.
Heed his words. Talk to other people. Do something.
And we got to be ready for it.
I got one question before we switch over to the Israel situation. What do you guys think about Trudeau talking about podcasts being monitored in Canada?
I mean, this is something that they had in their plans.
I didn't save it, but shout out to Guantag for the discount Gavin Newsom.
To restrict and lock down for a very long time. If you look at after 9/11, this is where a lot of this rhetoric came out of. We got to control the narrative. We got to control the conversations. You look at Obama's administration and the rise of Cass Sunstein. He literally talked about how there should be an internet tax and people should be paying more money if they spread conspiracy theories. If they don't agree with the set narrative, they have to pay extra money that will be automatically deducted from their bank account. I confronted Cass Sunstein face to face on this document on his larger kind of PSYOP censorship efforts. He said, I never said those things. I'm like, motherfucker, here you go. I got your fucking document here. Were you saying these fucking things? Yeah. He ran like a fucking coward. That video of him running also available on WeAreChange. But
another great video if you haven't watched that one. It used to be, I guess, just on YouTube, but it's probably behind the paywall now. But yeah, I'm watching Foe saying Canada doesn't have freedom of speech. It's not surprising that they're monitoring podcasts. That's everywhere else in the world. So when you hear, your liberal friend talking about how horrible America is and the colonizers and oppression and all the only reason you're even allowed to say those things is because you live in the greatest country on earth. But hey, we fight for the freedoms to be an asshole. You have the freedom to be retarded. You have the freedom to be just all around a piece of shit. Most of us would prefer if you didn't. But that's what freedom is. So he says the West is censor happy control freaks. I mean, true, but okay, so the West, definitely. And that's why, among the West, America is number one. On text, I heard there was a Palestinian trucker protest in Canada. I bet they totally had their bank accounts hit. There's the hypocrisy. Didn't even hear about this. But how dare some truckers decide that they don't want to take experimental medicine? It's the end of the world. They're not allowed to use currency anymore.
But what we're seeing now is they will pull out all the stops. And it's not just, people think that this censorship is happening because some kind of blue armpit haired flip-flop wearing yuppie at YouTube is pressing the button. The fuck no, it's not. It's the FBI, it's the CIA, it's the intelligence agencies that are saying, hey, we're calculating all the assessments based on our artificial intelligence data analysis, and we got to shut these motherfuckers up because they're not going to allow us to get away with this fuckery that we're trying to pull on the American people. Yeah. So it is the intelligence agencies, it is the upper echelons, it is the deep state saying, censor Russell Brand, censor him, because we're not going to be able to pull off. Our calculations are showing us through the artificial intelligence, through the information we're getting, that we won't be able to get away with this shit if he speaks out against it.
Shout out to Luke. Shout out to Dietrich. Welcome to the party. Did you ask the wrong question? Did you ask a question? What you talk about, Willis? Welcome to the party.
We might be able to get away.
Obsessed with what? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Obsessed with what? What are you talking about?
Away with it only if a small percentage of the population knows about it. But if a wider population knows about it, it's fucking game over for us. And they're playing an incredibly risky game that they're trying to calculate to the T. Their calculations include destroying our voices, destroying speech.
What are we talking
about? We're getting that we won't be able to get away with this shit if he speaks out against and censor him, because we're not going to be
here. Is what you're talking about? We'll go back.
Fuckery that we're trying to pull on the American people. Yeah. So it is the intelligence agencies, it is the upper echelons, it is the deep state saying, censor Russell Brand, censor him, because we're not going to be able to pull off. Our calculations are showing us through the artificial intelligence, through the information we're getting, that we won't be able to get away with this shit if he speaks out against it. We might be able to get away with it only if a small percentage of the population knows about it. But if a wider population knows about it, it's fucking game over for us. And they're playing an incredibly risky game that they're trying to calculate calculate to the T. Their calculations include destroying our voices, destroying speech, more importantly, destroying the truth.
Again, can I say, cook 'em, Luke. Cook 'em, Luke.
We agree that, especially nowadays, there's no more free speech. It's like pretty much like done.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I mean, like we're all gonna be under attack.
Yeah. I mean,
well, the fact
George
that
Carlin,
the FBI
yeah.
said that Trump supporters are terrorists. I'm not exaggerating. Newsweek reported the FBI has created a classification. Trump's MAGA followers are all extremists now that must be monitored. It's like, bro, you say that, and now you're on the watch list. That's crazy.
What are your thoughts, Tim, on Trudeau trying to put filters on podcasts? Rogan talked about it a couple of days ago. I saw a clip. From
It's simple. They're crackpot, totalitarian, woke psychopaths. They're communists, and the people of Canada are getting steamrolled.
Yeah, I mean, this is again why we want to get these direct answers from people that we watch pretty regularly, and we know that this is what you think. But to be able to say it directly and have all these questions directly asked, I think is important to again, as we're moving forward, as the landscape is changing, as you know, October surprise and the primaries and this and that and that and that and that. The opinions are going to change, positions are going to change, and we want to be able to see, wait a minute, you said when you were on Fresh and Fit, you said this, and now you're saying that. Or, well, hey, when he's on Fresh and Fit, he said this, and now he's saying the same thing. Sorry, I didn't see anything before the one I pulled up. Dietrich's asked, if Israel had so many defense systems and guarded ports of entry, how did so many Hamas members get in to commit the acts of violence that snowballed this? Well, I certainly don't have an answer for that. I would imagine that if there is, I don't know. I have no idea. That is a good question. I'm thinking about, our border and how bad that is, and how I'm worried about Hamas coming over our border and doing shit here. But I'm not familiar with how how locked up Israel is. Wanted foes said, just hope it wasn't like those paragliders. Yeah, that's what did I say that? I thought yeah. Oh no, that's what I was gonna say, and then I didn't know how to spell parachuting. It looked wrong, so I just said something with a parachute.
They are.
So these are evil people, man. And if we don't pay attention to what's going on here, they're trying to bring it here. They're doing it. Look at the FBI, man.
Look at the trucker convoy that had their bank accounts
Shout
taken
out
away
to,
from them. That were arrested for peacefully protesting, for just trying to say a simple message.
Anyone that supported them got their bank accounts frozen
Exactly.
too.
Anyone who donated to them got threatened to have their banks taken away from them. How evil and fucking cruel that you have to be, that you're such an insecure fucking dictator to say, you speak out against me, you even say something I don't like, jail. That is not a fucking system that works. That is a totalitarian top-down system that is oppressive, that is dangerous for everyone. And that's a system coming here and is here. And it already exists.
And we can't stop it.
I don't know.
Were you going to go? Were you going to watch it? I don't know. What you want me to say? I mean, I like, there's only so much I could do. And when you're in this game, if you care more about and I know that Tim doesn't, and I understand the sentiment, but at the end of the day, if you have worked so hard to become somebody who's so important, and now you're talking to Matt Gaetz, and you're in the same room as James O'Keefe with Patrick Bet-David, that's newsworthy. And I'm very, I'm very willing to take they could take all 70 cents of ad revenue that would have come from that stream. I'm totally fine to do that. I care about the message. I care about me and you knowing what happened there, so that like I just said, as this election season keeps rolling on, we understand what's happening. So I know you're not, coming at me, but I'm just saying, like, is that really, I mean, I don't know. So I'm glad I was here to watch it. I wouldn't have paid. I wouldn't have found exactly. That's the way of the world. That is the way of the world. So if you say it's like, if anything, it's like anything else. If people want to pay for a thing, they will. If not, they won't. You cannot stop the wind. Such is information. And as a matter of fact, I do pay for it. I've been a member since 2021, way before they had the Discord server or anything. All it was I think I'm not positive, but I may have joined before they even had a website. So it wasn't even any content. It was just, here, I'm going to give you money every month because I believe in what you are doing. So if that didn't buy me the goodwill to stream that, then I don't know what to tell anybody, you know? Throb said, King's James Bible says Ishmael will become strong nation under Bible, ignore the non-Catholics. Will do.
I don't know. I think they want you to feel like you can't.
No, Canada's worse than us, but
it could happen.
This is actually very good. How do you stop it?
There's multiple factors. There's multiple solutions. It depends on exactly what you mean by how do you stop it. So we first have to define what are we stopping here.
The New World Order.
How do you stop the New World Order? I think individually we could create solutions within ourselves with our small decisions that will at least save some people from the larger chaos, from the larger suffering. And I think we make those decisions every single day with as simple as things as deciding on what we eat, on what kind of food we put in our fucking bodies. I think that's the biggest one. I think us being unhealthy, I think us realizing that there's a biological war against human beings, us being individuals who believe in faith, who believe in family, who believe in communities, standing up for each other, standing up for the right thing is a start. There's
all of those things except faith.
There's multiple solutions for this. It's up to us to realize it. But if the situation was futile, they wouldn't need to censor us, right?
Facts.
See, my take is, I get what you're saying, but when survival's on the table,
do you, Walter? Because you're like, well, how do we stop the New World Order? Bruh. Shout out to God Narangha. Welcome. Conspiracy theories, that is up to you to decide. Let's see if you think we're being conspiratorial or if we just know what's really going on. Welcome to the party.
Table, you need to eat for your family and take care of them, and you got to take whatever precautions, for example, a mark or, for example, a chip inside of you, and this is the only way to survive. You're going to do it, which means anybody that's telling the truth, point them out, get them out of here.
But they could only get away with if everyone complies.
They will. Look at COVID.
Do not comply. Once again, shout out to my pure bloods. Do not comply. There is no, and again, I will tell you, it is coming back. And they cannot get to vaccine mandates if you refuse to wear a mask. They cannot have vaccine mandates if you refuse the step before that. I'm 33. Zibby said, how do you stop the New World Order? Talk about it, get people talking, bring new ideas into the market. Well, exactly, but that's why it's such like a cringe question. It's like, bro, like, there's not just like, oh, you just do this. You just put this over there, then you fix the New World Order. What? Like, that's such a complex question. Stephanie Miller said, as much as Tim has gone through, I would think the message would be more important. How many times has he been swatted? Yeah, and, you know, again, I accept the responsibility that if they are going to copyright claim my stream and take all the money from it, fine. Those are the rules. But I think it's better for all of us, for Tim, for Luke, for Matt Gates, for me, for you guys, for us all to be able to see it. And especially because I am personally a paying member, then like Gontek is saying, maybe I just decided that my version of doing this was going to be online. I can guarantee you one thing. Clip this up right here, right now. I can guarantee you one thing. When, not if, when I become a big channel and people want to take my content and react to it, repost it, whatever, go ahead. Clip this up and go ahead. Unless you're just, you know, just downloading the video and uploading the video, in which case, as long as it's not taking views away from me, I really don't care. Because what I really care about is you, is this country. Yes, I need to eat. But as long as I'm making enough money to eat and pay my bills, then we good.
You guys, with the mask mandates,
but with COVID too, they usually do 2 steps forwards, one step back.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in the step back phase, right? COVID was 2 step forwards, but COVID also transformed a lot of people's mental understanding of government, mental understanding of police officers that they thought were there to protect and serve, and in reality walked around small businesses and shut them down.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people realized, hey, the vaccine that we got wasn't what we were promised. It wasn't safe. It wasn't effective. There's a lot of people with heart disease now. There's a lot of people with cancers that are dramatically going up more than ever. I think people have realized since COVID, holy fucking cow, the government is ruthless. It is.
Yup. I'm torn between shaming the sheep when the coof comes around again and peacefully going about my day and not complying. I think the best you can do without because like just going up to people and trying to convince them of something, this is why we need community, because just going up to somebody and shaming them, be like, oh, you're doing something stupid, that's not going to change anybody's mind. But how about you go about your day and simply not comply? And then when they're, being sheep, you're like, you should check out this guy, the Indian Jesus. He's going to say some things that I may or may not agree with, but I really think that you should hear. That's our role. I'll say it. You don't have to. I'll say it. You don't need to get in trouble. You don't need to lose friends. I will say it. You just need to be here. That is it. Golden Holder said, the truth is already suppressed so much. We should definitely appreciate the bits and pieces we get here and there. That's true. That's true. Unwanted Foe, quote, it's not about the money. It's about sending a message. The Indian Joker. Never met him, but sounds like a good dude. Ray Pass said, someday there will be a release group who starts releasing paywall videos on torrents. I'm sure I'm sure that stuff is already out there. I'm sure that stuff is already out there. But it's like, the fact is there are people like me willing to pay Tim for nothing in return. There are people like you, besides the content. There are people like some of you guys who are willing to pay me to do this as in return for what I'm doing right now. That is capitalism. That is what we're all doing here. I'm doing my best to entertain you and to throw some education in there. I'm certainly not the authority on anything besides the American identity. But we're all just playing our part. Hey, shout out to Bailey. Welcome to the party. So the best thing you can do is make your community appear as logical and reasonable as possible. They will already try to demonize non-compliance. No reason to give them more ammunition. Well said, Bailey. Coming in hot. Welcome to the party. Guamtech said, I'm human and just want to give them a taste of their own medicine. I know I should be better than that, but it's high time we completely destroyed this nonsense. I totally feel you. That's why I started a channel. But hey, let's collab. Let's do it. Let's shame the sheep. Well, that'll be the name of our show.
A lot of people with heart disease now. There's a lot of people with cancers that are dramatically going up more than ever. I think people have realized since COVID, holy fucking cow, the government is ruthless. It is fucking evil. I should not comply, whatever the next thing is. And I think, it is a battle. It is something that we are fighting every single day. It is an information war. Yep. And I think a big part of the information war is understanding that we are in charge. Our acquiescence, our compliance allows shit to happen. And if they think that resistance is futile, I think you already lost. You need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in your body. You need to have respect for yourself. You need to have value for yourself as a human being.
Absolutely.
That right there is an act of modern day resistance. Being happy, being healthy, having a family, having a faith, and being able to work towards something greater than yourself so you could leave something better than yourself after you leave this world.
That is modern day resistance. Living a happy life, living a valued life, living a principled life, living a righteous life. Whether you have faith or not, doesn't matter to me. It matters to some other people. All I care about is that you live that way.
You have your life. Your life is short. How do you live it? I live it in a way where it's a fucking destiny to make it better for the future children that I'm gonna have.
I agree. We can spread awareness on this topic and make people aware, but to actually stop the establishment, you can't.
Well, I think what's happening is an order is forming on Earth. There's going to be a new world order that's happening, and it's how is it going to happen? Like that's what we have power over. Is we're helping form the new world order. Ideally, it would have been United States republicanism, freedom all over Earth. We all be governing ourselves locally and have this.
Oh man, I don't know about getting a little nitpicky there, but yeah, I mean, like imagine. It doesn't have to be all over everywhere, but imagine if just in your, your proximity, your community, whatever size you want to talk about, your county, your town, whatever, but in your community, everybody lives by the same values. And so nobody's perfect. People fall out of it and do something wrong, and then they get appropriately shamed for it, and then they appropriately apologize for it, and then everybody fucking moves on with their life, continuing to live by those values. It's amazing. Hey, shout out to Logan. Welcome to the party. So like Ian Suit looks like Joe Pesci from My Cousin Vinny. I love that movie. Welcome to the party. That is the suede jacket. Definitely, maybe he fell in the mud, and that's all he had. Guamtech said, or you already got that one. Goldholder said, goodness means everything in this current drought of compassion. Yes, sir. Goodness means everything. And goodness is different than kindness or generosity or tolerance. Goodness is something very specific. And at least to me, it boils down to those values: family, community, grace, forgiveness, merit, capitalism. These are the types of things, whether you'll believe in a God or not, is what will allow us to move forward and defeat this bullshit, the actual oppression.
In that of communication. If we do nothing, they'll make proprietary systems and track and control us with data and finance and stuff like that. But if we splash open free systems and we can see the software code of our artificial intelligence and our social networks, we know when we're being manipulated and we can avoid situations or create situations. We'll have much more control over planting new growth.
Oh, look, we're all off our tits. Well, I wish I was on some tits, because I really do like tits, but I
want these motherfuckers to win. Stop saying that they're gonna win. That mentality, that idea also matters too. These motherfuckers, fuck them. Fuck these assholes. Fuck these bitches. I'm not gonna give a fucking inch. I'm not giving them shit.
How do you not love
Luke?
Luke?
Your life of resistance. You live a good fucking holy fucking life.
The optimism. I like the idea of freedom, but to be honest, bro, it's happening.
Let's pull up the Israel stuff. Let's get into Israel real quick, and we'll wrap this thing up.
You saw what the president said about his speech about AI and what's coming?
Yeah,
which president?
Of Israel.
Oh, Netanyahu.
The new system where like control is going to be everything, and whatever you eat, whatever you do, whatever you say.
Is this for throbs?
Will be monitored, and if you don't agree with the agenda, and that's the president of Israel. That's crazy, right?
Did he say that in response to this today?
He made a whole speech about it
today.
This was like 2 days ago. I sent it to you as well.
He referred to this as like another 9/11. So
the United States needs to give $250 billion to Israel right now. Can we get all the Democrats to give all the money?
Please,
guys, let's go. What do you got?
I think before the Ukraine thing, they were the #1 country that we gave foreign aid to.
Yeah.
Right, and it's all bullshit.
Well, Egypt was also very
man.
close to that as well. Egypt got a lot of money. Pakistan got a lot of money as well. We're financing Sri Lankan fucking speedboats. All right, what the fuck are we doing? Why does
I mean, Luke is going up. We can only expect so much from one man. We can only expect so much from one man. But if you get into it, he will definitely talk about that. So yeah, Throb Zippy says that he can feel the cope. And then Throb says ideas versus minerals.
What?
Sri Lanka need fucking speedboats? Why does fucking Pakistan need gender studies? They don't. It's a fucking waste of money. It's a fucking racket. All foreign aid needs to be stopped immediately.
Here's my idea. We build a border on the southern. We secure our borders. We shut down the TPP. We bring manufacturing back to the United States. We bring about these peace deals. Maybe we could do something. We call it like an accord of some sort. Maybe name it after something related to the religions of the region. Abraham Accords. We'll do that, and then we'll bring peace to these various countries. Oh,
that didn't work out though.
When Donald Trump was president, we got the Abraham Accords, and Vladimir Putin did not invade Ukraine. And in fact, there was a pause on the actions. We saw the conflict with Ukraine and Russia building up under Obama. Trump gets in, it freezes. ISIS gets decimated. We see the Abraham Accords. We see peace deals.
Yep.
Trump's out, Biden's back in. Chaos, insanity. So I think
really quick, guys, just want to let you know we are coming up on that 2.5 hour mark. If you would like the party to keep rolling, you know how to do it.
What Trump was doing was good for the American people.
Yeah.
What the Democrats are doing is good for your owners, your rulers. As George Carlin said, you have owners. The people who think that you are property, you are chicken in their chicken coop, and they own what you do.
Yup.
And they're no better than you as well. Yeah,
So
apparently.
let's.
How do they fit like 20 girls around this one table? How is how you doing that?
So right here, we got a shout out to our guy, Real Toronto News. Israel declares war after wave of surprise attacks from Gaza. Death toll still counting. We'll tab over to the right there. We can unmute that real quick. So it says here, rocket fire targeting Tel Aviv right now. Multiple interceptions, air raid, siren sound. You probably got the tab muted.
Trey Yingst is legit.
Who doesn't love a tiny girl?
So when I see a lot of this stuff, I wonder what's.
Are you sure? I'm 90% sure that it's the same table. Are you sure? Because this is just his apartment. I don't think he has another room.
What's propaganda, but I know Trey and I know he's legit.
Right. Okay. So hit play.
Interceptions taking place right now. Those booms in the distance. I can see off in the distance. Some of these rockets are landing in the sea. Others being intercepted by Israel's missile defense system, the Iron Dome.
There's reports of the Iron
Right now there are
Dome actually
rocket
being
sirens.
stopped because of so many missiles that were sent all at once. I think it's estimated that there was 5,000 missiles sent at once, and therefore the Iron Dome, which usually uses other missiles to intercept them, wasn't able to intercept some of them, and this is why some of the bombs are landing on civilian targets. These
All right, put a 1 in the chat if you have a King James Bible.
These aren't, quote, smart bombs. These are bombs most likely facilitated by Saudi Arabia. With what's happening right now, we have to understand that there's a bigger geopolitical perspective here that is worth noting, and that is China.
Okay, so this is this studio, and this is a nighttime studio. Looks like the same room to me. You got the fresh and fit thing over here. And then this is obviously a photograph, so this is going to be mirrored. Oh, maybe not. That would make sense. Huh. It still looks like a small-ass table. But anyway. Moving on! So Throb said, none of these fools have a King James Bible. We got a 1 here. We got one. Goldholder also has a Geneva Bible. Bailey said I have at least 7 in my house right now. Yeah. Whoops.
Coming onto the world stage and recently bringing Iran and Saudi Arabia together. There's a big deal brokered there. They were actually able to end the war.
All right. You got me. I was wrong. Unwanted foe was right. See how that works? It's fine. I can be wrong.
On Yemen, which was a crazy, fucked up humanitarian violation of a war that was a proxy war between the Houthis and the Saudi Arabian Islamists, ISIS and radicals. It looks like China came in, brokered a deal between the two, and now Saudi Arabia and Iran are making bold declarations against the state of Israel, and saying that Saudi Arabia came out with a statement saying that it was Israel that started this conflict. But it is a full all-out war. It's a very dangerous war. A lot of innocent people are losing their lives. Some of the footage is fucking graphic. It's fucked up, and a lot of innocent people are caught up in this bullshit. And
Billy, he's calling you out.
And it's fucking crazy to see this unfold in real time as the footage here isn't being censored anywhere, but we're seeing some raw, crazy shit on Twitter.
There's more.
Yeah, Throbs, I don't really know what kind of vibe you're getting from me, but I am a staunch atheist, and I have respect for Christian values, but I don't believe in God or anything like that. But most of the people here are Christians.
Let's keep going. There's more tabs here, and we can comment on it. Residential Palestine tower in the heart of Gaza city targeted in direct hit on live by Israel, and that's from Jackson Hinkle. Shout out to our guy Jackson Hinkle, man.
Shout out to him.
You guys had him on your show recently. The MAGA communist. Let's run the clip.
The MAGA communist. I missed that one.
Imagine being there and hearing that.
Bruh.
Please take cover. If you are in a position to do so safely, you can explain to us what we're happening. If you are not in a position to do so safely, please get to safety.
There you go.
No, it's okay. This is a missile attack on Palestine Tower.
I'm getting triggered by this.
Right in the middle of Gaza City.
You know anything?
No, interesting. Who just heard what Tim said? That's going to come back. So Throb said 7 King James Bibles in your house? Billy says yes. Or yep. I collect Bibles. I'm Christian, and Lutch has never been disrespectful about my faith. I've been a little disrespectful, but thank you for the cosign. Kohler said, I'm atheist. I just have Bibles to know what the enemy plans. There you go. Who's Kyle?
What?
70 said, I don't remember a time there wasn't a Bible in my house. And yeah. I'm not sure about the MAGA communist. I'm not never heard of it. But Jackson Winkle said that they said he was recently on the show. So if someone wants to pull up some clips of that, we can definitely see what this guy's all about. But and I purposely paused it here. If somebody remembered what Tim just said, I'm trying to decide if I want to say it or just play it. And okay, so yeah, hey, shout out to Daniel Cabrera in the building. Welcome to the party. Well, Daniel won't be able to hear it, but let's see. Before we go back,
triggered because that woman should not be there.
Yeah.
So when I cover conflict and crisis, I never stayed in a country that got anywhere near that. You know why? I don't have the capabilities. So when I was in Ukraine, I was gone by the time they started opening fire with live ammo. I do not have the training or the skills or the capabilities to cover active war. I cover civil unrest, conflict, and crisis up to that point. And that's when I say, you need a military guy. You need a guy who did, 4 to 8 years, who understands, who's going to have heavy first aid training, who's going to understand dead
sounds
ground
of
cover,
bullets,
sounds
how
of bullets.
bombs drop. Yep.
I got a little bit of that. But when I was when I left Egypt and the APCs rolled in, and I say, guys, it's time for you to bring in like a professional for this one.
So do you guys get what I'm getting at here? That Bailey and it sounded like Dan heard it right as he came in, but this is triggering me. This is triggering me because she should not be out there, and there's no shame in that. Stay in your lane. Understand. Self-awareness, all of these things will keep you in the right place. If you're like, oh yeah, I'll just do whatever, you end up in a war zone, which is not the same thing as, oh, I gotta walk in an alley late at night, and there might be somebody there. This is a whole different ballgame. A whole different ballgame.
Right. My capabilities are here. I'm done. I get really, really, really pissed off when I see people
let's get a Dan in the chat. Not feeling so great. Let's get a Dan in the chat and make him feel a little bit better. A little bit. Put Dan in the chat if you care at all about our countrymen.
Really cannot handle war in war zones. The crying and the shaking from that woman, dude, I get it, man. No beef over her freaking out when a missile strike happens right behind your back.
Yeah.
But you should not have been there. When I was in Egypt, there was this woman. I don't know if it happened right when I was there, but there's a 26-year-old Dutch woman who I think she got gang raped.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, why the fuck did you send a 26-year-old blonde woman into a horde of 3,000 angry men with a history of raping women?
Wow.
Female empowerment, and we can't be sexist. Stupid. Yeah, when I was doing hostile environment training, somebody asked, these are like former MI6 guys, who are like, okay, if there's a kidnapping, what can you expect? Like, they had this scenario where we get stopped in our cars and a bunch of guys with guns jump out and pull us out of the vehicles, take all the women into a shed, and then you hear the women screaming. And they're like, yeah, this is what's going to happen to you.
War is very different than anything you have ever experienced. And I'm telling you this as someone who also does not understand the degree to which war is different than anything that I've experienced. It's important to know what you know what you don't know. Know what you do. Know you don't know. And at least be aware that there is shit that you don't know that you don't know. You are very welcome, Dan. Send in good vibes all the way through.
When you go out into a war zone. And then, but here's the funny thing. When we go back to those are the scenarios they give us. When we go back to like the main training area, someone asked them, but like, what about men though? They were like
whose 14-year-old child is here?
Like for men and women, it's different when you're in conflict, right? Because of our laws on what is allowed to be said in a workplace.
What doesn't Tim repeat a lot?
the dude goes, well, everyone can be raped. Even men will get raped. And I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
If you bring a woman into a war zone, they will beat and torture you and rape her.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that to be mean to anybody.
It's true.
It's what they do.
Facts.
But they have to be politically correct, and they're like, the men will get raped. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. They're going to shoot you in the face.
Yeah, the craziest war zone.
So I'm not
ever-
a fan of women in infantry.
No, I completely agree.
It doesn't make any sense. But I covered one of the craziest war zones I covered was in Mogadishu, Somalia.
Yeah.
I made sure I hired 15 mercenaries with AK-47s to always be around me for a fucking reason, right? You don't fuck around with those types of situations. It's fucking serious. And no, the stories and the videos and photos. There's also a lot of incidences of reportings of kidnappings now happening.
Yeah, in Israel right now.
And those individuals will probably be used as human shields for the upcoming next attacks that are happening in that region.
Almost.
Not for members.
Man, I'm not that old. A lot of people who are older may have seen crazier shit than this, but the videos they're putting out, whether you believe it or not, shows us this is going to be one of the most dramatic militaristic escalations in our lifetime.
I've never had any complaints, but I don't know how you would know that.
Videos of, and I got to best, I don't know what I believe. Right? They're like, look at this video of a Palestinian storming the building. I'm like,
age of deepfake technology, so vehicles especially.
But
America,
here's the thing: if the video is real,
yeah,
that, Hamas has breached into Israel and is kidnapping Israeli citizens.
Yeah.
If the video is fake and it's propaganda, whatever you want to believe, what they are telling you right now is expect the most like extreme military escalation you've seen.
Yeah,
that does not make me feel good, because you guys know that I have this a little bit of a hands-off approach to especially developing things, and especially foreign affairs that are developing when we don't know exactly what's going on. I don't have the knowledge to be able to parse through what's fake news and what's real versus what's propaganda, and there's just too much. And I forgot what he said. What did he just say?
Whatever you want to believe, what they are telling you right.
Oh yeah, that like either side, either way. Now that's what I was asking Jerkalani and Frosttown about these people who are in Michigan gathering around to cheer with Palestinian flags, just hanging out. Yeah, I got to go to this thing that has nothing to do with anything at all. Like what? What do you think you're doing? And this is the problem, that people will just go with whatever the current thing is. Thanks, Rashida Tlaib.
Right now is expect the most like extreme military escalation you've seen.
Yeah, I'm concerned that they're going to go door to door and just take the Palestinians out one by one.
That video, the strike on the building or whatever, like we're at the point where they're going to flatten Gaza.
Yeah, I completely agree, Lil John, and that's why I don't like. I feel like I have, I was saying before about, this the reporter that we saw with the thing going off and Tim got triggered. Stay in your lane. I would not. I would feel very, very bad if I came out here and I was talking about what should or shouldn't be, what half-baked opinions about Jews and Israelis and Palestinians and Hamas and Muslims, and I would feel very bad about that personally. I wouldn't want to, and I know that I'm not some, like I'm just the guy on the screen, but there's a relationship that happens here, and I don't want to put that out there, especially for the people. Like, shout out to the replay gang. But if you're solely replay gang and you've never been here and I don't even know you, I certainly don't want to be pushing ideology that I don't believe in, or I don't know whether or not I believe in it. It's scary. It's scary. Throbs over on Twitch said, from a UK point, these dickheads are fools. Well, from an American point of view, so are you. Bailey said, you can't be anti-Semitic, but you can when you think Palestinians are under attack for no reason. Yep. Guantek said, geez, man, I'm really getting some Attack on Titan propaganda vibes on this Israel-Palestine thing. Bad stuff all around. And again, that's, this is where, because of, I see the doomerism in Tim's coverage of culture war issues. then I hear that. And as much as I don't love to hear, oh, expect the worst possible violence, I also am primed because we do things like this and pay attention to what people are saying over time. I can understand that his mindset is a little bit more pessimistic than mine. But then I want to compare that to the fact that he actually has been in real war zones before. These are all things that when just one sentence, expect the worst kind of, I don't even remember what exactly the sentence was, but remember, expect the worst type of violence. That one sentence to even, before you even engage with the truth of that claim, we're talking about who is it coming from? What is he saying around it? What's the context? What, all of these other things. Most people don't do that. They just hear it and accept it, or hear it and reject it. They don't think about it. But we're all doing a lot better than them because we are. To be said from an American point of view, the UK are slaves of the NWO. Surf life is the best.
So this is a holy war, right? And I think on this level, it sets the stage for like way more damage. And I think on a world level, this is going to be massive, because if this happens and this actually goes through and they actually destroy Gaza, I mean, bro, it's going to be chaos.
One of the things that
Oh, really, Walter? It's going to be it's going to be chaos. Thank you so much for adding to this conversation.
Chaos.
That
That
building,
whole region has been chaos for a very long time.
Yeah.
that Palestine building, I think it's called, what is it called? Palestine building. It's
Yeah.
like the one that got hit by the missile behind the girl. I think it ended up coming down a few hours later.
Oh,
There's
shit.
video of it actually coming
Demolition,
down.
right?
It looks like it. So it comes down in what looks like a free fall, which makes me think it was demolished, which makes me
Or put on your tinfoil beanie. Or does that mean that all the free-falling videos of Building 7 on 9/11 and the towers themselves, maybe a building actually can fail and go into free fall? You never know. You never know. Stephanie deleted that. Bailey said, don't forget, this is all UK's fault for drawing straight lines. That's what Jerkalani said. That is exactly what she said. I asked her directly, and she said, blame the UK. So she knows a lot more about this than I do, so I'm going to listen to her.
me think that potentially that the Israelis had lined that was like
Or there could have been just missiles inside of it already, or munitions in it already, and therefore one explosion led to another
but
explosion.
it did fall in near free fall, and that indicates a demolition. Like there was no toppling; it just fell straight. It looks like it fell straight. And if that's the case, perhaps that the Israeli military had that place.
Oh, I think on Wanted Foe, I don't know if you saw it again, but I think it's like they have something on the outside of the building, and it's like something that's going around, and so we're just seeing as it passes the window.
Already lined and ready to blow, and they're like, if Hamas takes a step
Ready
towards us, it's
to
going
go.
down. But then I don't. Maybe they hit it in the top with a missile, so it doesn't look.
Of course. Oh wait, I was gonna say, of course, Ian doesn't have shoes on, but I think they asked them to take their shoes off because it's his apartment.
Like they're demolishing it first. I don't know, but that maybe would indicate that they're ready to do the genocide and they want to. But it definitely looks like Hamas engaged this.
If you give me a link, Tim, we'll pull it up on Twitter right now.
It's Mr. Guns and Gear
on
Twitter. And there's like a
Hey, shout out to MJ. Welcome to the party. So can I just say, people need to challenge Ian. He's not a demolition expert, but he talks like he is. Yes. But are we really gonna say that people don't question Ian? That people don't challenge Ian? I completely agree with you, MJ. But sometimes Ian is just Ian. And I think that's okay. And I think that's great. I don't disagree. But I leave the man alone. He's just a crystal loving hippie. Welcome to the party, MJ. Good to see ya.
a tweet claiming that this woman who's being kidnapped.
I saw a lot of videos like that. Of
They're saying
kidnapped.
that it's female IDF officers are getting kidnapped.
Damn.
But that, like, dude, I'm just look, man.
That makes sense to me.
Some women who can handle this stuff, and they're on the highest end of the bell curve. Like, there are women who are 6 foot, super ripped, very masculine. So I don't think it's an issue of gender. I think it's an issue of capabilities. But if I see
exactly, it's not. I was going to say something before, but they were talking and it didn't really fit as much. But Myron was like, "I don't think women should be in infantry." I don't think that is a. I don't care. Like, if you're 6 foot and jacked and you can do anything else, I don't give a fuck. what's in your pants. But you have to be able to do the same thing as the men. That's unquestionable. But if you can do it and you're willing to, that's one less person that I'm before the draft comes. And yeah, that's exactly why he's there. He's there to be the simultaneously the everyman who's not balls deep in politics, the kind of kooky guy just in general, and then also the liberal, because Ian, remember, he's like 40 something years old. He's a liberal, like it has meant for all of the last however many decades. So he's there for a very specific reason, and it works. It works. I'm just saying, okay, maybe I should clarify. I think the people at the table should be challenging Ian. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Like I said, I agree. Leaving his statements to stand like that makes it feel as though they agree. Okay. I mean, I feel personally as as somebody who watches specifically Timcast IRL, the show, very often, or listen to it. I understand that they're just like, I'm not even going to derail the show by addressing that. But this totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Bailey said women shouldn't be in infantry. They should be having babies who can be in infantry. Pick me, choose me. Good one. Call it out before they can, right? Lojan says, is it Lojan or Lojan or Lojan? Like, can you give a phonetic for me, please? Thank you. Women make better fighter pilots. Apparently they can handle more stress from the G's. Interesting. So there we go. Load up the Air Force with these chicks who can just go 9 Gs. Don't have to worry about it.
See a video of like a 5'6", 120-pound woman being kidnapped by a bunch of dudes. You told me
that's bigger than me.
Put her in combat. I'm like, what'd you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
This is also going to be a very divisive issue that automatically is going to have people on one.
Hey, shout out to CT223. Welcome to the party.
Either side of this conflict, and it's going to divide a lot of people. I think during this time we need more of a communication. We need more dialogue. We need more empathy, especially with some of the crazy shit that we're seeing online. But fucking hell, this is not going to be a healthy ecosystem online, because everyone I'm looking right now, everyone's like, it's Israel, it's Palestine. I'm like fucking hell. Like, how about we just stop fucking fighting?
This topic triggers a lot of people.
There's more.
Yeah, there's more, guys. So, and then this is let's finish the Toronto thing, and then we'll pull this up. What Tim pulled up. Okay. So here's the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu,
guys. Watch interview with Elon Musk and him. It was crazy what it talks about.
I saw his interview with
They talking about AI,
and it
he interviewed Netanyahu. I definitely got to check that out.
It's about the Euphrates River drying up, which is very sentimental towards the end times, which is crazy.
So this is in Hebrew, guys, but the translations are below. But this is his address to the country.
Citizens of Israel.
So let's run it.
All right. So since they're not going to read it, I will. So citizens of Israel, we are at war.
So this is in Hebrew, guys, but the translations are below.
Go. Citizens of Israel, we are at war. Not in the operation, not in the rounds, in war. This morning, Hamas launched a murderous surprise attack against the state of Israel and its citizens. We've been at it since early morning. I convened the heads of the security cabinet. First of all, I instructed to cleanse the communities of the terrorists who had infiltrated. And this operation is being carried out during these hours. At the same time, I ordered an extensive reserve mobilization and retaliatory war with a strength and scope the enemy did not know. The enemies will pay a price he has never known. In the meantime, I call on all citizens to God damn it. The enemy will pay the price he has never known. In the meantime, I call on all citizens of Israel to strictly obey the instructions of the army, the instructions of the Home Front Command. And we are at war, and we will win it. from Netanyahu. Shout out again to CT223. Welcome. Said Israel's about to go on the ground in Gaza. Evacuated over 1 million people from Gaza. Not sure if you already talked about this. No, I did not. Thank you for the information. Unwanted Foe said, wonder how much land Palestine will lose this time. Nobody knows.
All right, so basically, guys, to summarize it for you, he said that we're at war. We're going to punish the people that are responsible.
See, they got all these viewers, all these goddamn super chats, and I thought to read it out. And in the meantime,
Responsible for this, obey the military and authorities, Israeli citizens, and I mean, because they're under constant threat where they're surrounded by.
Netanyahu's not playing, bro. He's literally trying to bring about a utilitarian world where like there's only one ruler.
It's interesting because he went on Lex Friedman and he talked about how he's so big on peace and he's a big reason why the conflicts have slowed down, etc.
I didn't know Netanyahu was that accessible. I'm gonna have to do some homework.
What are your guys' thoughts on that?
There was other reports coming in specifically. I haven't been able to independently verify it, but calling for armed Israeli citizens to mobilize, which in my opinion, shows the importance of an armed society. But I saw that conversation that Elon Musk was going to have with Netanyahu. I didn't get to watch it. I know you did.
Yeah.
What was your takeaway from it? Because I think the sentiments of Netanyahu in this sphere absolutely matter because he's the one calling the shots here. He's sort of the forever ruler of Israel.
Yeah.
And he's been there for a very long time. There was recently a lot of protest against him.
Yeah.
But with this conflict, he's only going to become more powerful and more influential. So what was your assessment of him after watching that video?
And he's also going through a corruption trial right now, as a matter of fact.
That's a very serious one.
Yeah.
He understands the history of Israel and also as well the Arabs. He understands what the world stage needs. He also understands that like what has to happen next is going to be a holy war. And
why is Luke Rudkowski asking Walter, whatever the fuck his name is, as if he's going to have anything to say?
He of all people,
there's going to be a holy war.
And what's coming with AI means total world domination. So the talk was mainly about, like, for example, foreign policies, what happened in the past, also the future for Israel. And if you look at the world stage right now, Israel is the main piece. And everyone is worried about Israel. Basically, they're trying to be on their good side, bad side. But the point is that like Israel's going to set the stage for the world to actually be moved towards the future. And at the same time, what's happening in the Bible is concurrent with what's happening now. So to me, it's like almost like prophetic because this was foretold years ago, many years ago, what's happening now. And what they're doing is tied directly towards this happening, moving towards one world policy, one global leader, where whatever you say against this leader, you'll either be killed for or silenced indefinitely.
Yes, that's what we've been talking about for the last 2 hours. Welcome to the conversation. Zippy says it's like with NATO creeping closer to Russia, starting a war. Israel, not much different. The real question, how much money do you think Israel pays to the terrorists for an excuse to claim more land or foreign aid? I mean, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. And you really never know. Like, we can't say that it's ridiculous to think that a government would, would arm insurgents and stuff like that, because we know that that's what happens. Scary. Weird. I'm trying to think if I agree with weird. Yeah, I guess he's a little weird, but the best kind of weird. I love Luke. He's awesome.
So just like at this point with AI and technology, where they're going, if you don't align with the actual powers that be, you're going to be taken out.
Interesting.
Ian, I'm sorry, I cut you off. You were saying something.
Well, I haven't seen Netanyahu do an interview, a high-profile American interview, in a long time, and then he just shows up on Lex's show 2 weeks ago, and now he's doing one with Elon, and then the war starts.
The Friedman was like a month and a half ago, because I remember watching it, and then this new one, I didn't even see the Elon one yet.
What did you say?
They're setting the stage for one. I don't know who it is who's coming. Somebody from the East, I believe, is coming to like save the world, and it's gonna be a really big event. I don't know what it's gonna be either. It could be aliens, could be, for example, a meteorite. We don't know, but
yeah, I mean they're going off into another direction. But Guantech, you're talking about what I was hoping that they would talk a little bit more about, and this is the problem with The problem is that I'm worried about what's happening here. I understand that it is important to American interests, what's going on in Israel. But I am more concerned personally about what is going to happen in America. Crossland said there was going to be some type of terrorist attack today in America. I mean, I've been with you guys, so hopefully that hasn't happened. But what are we expecting? I want to know what to expect. Obviously, we can't know, but I don't care about what's going on over there for the sake of what's going on over there. I care about what's going on over there for the sake of what's going to happen here.
That's going to tell people, hey, we need help. Someone needs to save us. We need a savior. And this one person coming has been foretold from religions, from Islam, Christianity.
You're referring
Hindu,
to the Messiah.
The Antichrist, the Messiah, whatever you want to call him. He's coming to reign on the earth for 7 years. So it's
sorry, Ian, you were saying something.
It sounds like a story that people would like us to believe, so that we think like cult worship. We're ready to bow down to our savior, when in fact it's a group of militant economists trying to take over the world with technology.
Mm-hmm.
Ian rolls a 20. What a better note to end the show on than that. You guys can, I think the rest of it, they're kind of just, blathering on. They don't necessarily have anything that, impactful. But again, I think it's important that we be witness to this stuff. We be aware of what's going on here. And we understand where are the people that we listen to? Where are they at? Where they at? No. Where they at? No. We want to know what's in your mind. What is your position today? And how does that compare to your position yesterday? And how is that going to compare to your position in 6 months and in 1 year from now? This is the type of the critical lens that you should be watching everything through. Everything. Ray says America's interests aren't in the interest of the normal American citizen. Israel can deal with its problems and their own consequences. That's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. America's interests are not the same as Lutch's interests. Ironically, Lutch's interests are American interests, but it doesn't go the other way around, does it? Of course not. Of course not. And so as much as we take a step back and from the culture war and we're like, oh, okay, well, we're all Americans now. That's a good thing. But we have to understand that it's something it's a narrative. It's a road we're being dragged down. You should be caring about America all the time, not just when there's something going on. Lojan says Israel funded Hamas originally. They wanted them to attack the PLO. I wouldn't be shocked if they did it again. Me neither. I don't think anything about this would. I don't think. If all of this came out that none of it was actually happening, I wouldn't be that surprised. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just saying that's the level of media bullshittery that we've gotten used to. How surprised would you really be if they're like, actually, that was a military defense exercise? Zippy said, American interest equals big government and big business interests. Exactly. And that is why, whenever we are watching this stuff, I will constantly remind you. I will constantly ask about if I'm talking to somebody else. When, last show when we had 2 people who were very knowledgeable about, this conflict, I was constantly wanting to bring it back to America. Not because I don't care about people in general, but I am only one person. I can only care so much about so many things and so many people. And I'm going to reserve that for myself and the people around me and my countrymen. That is as far as it goes. That's all I can do. Guamtech said, on a lighter note, fly my beautiful chicken wing from Tim Pool. Shout out to Ray Pest with the comment of the night with the assist from Guamtech. Good shit, guys. Good shit. And of course, I have a big thank you to say to my new moderator and the sponsor of the stream, Unwanted Foe. Thank you so much, brother. I really do appreciate it. Even if you guys can't contribute, I know that, everybody's in a different situation and it's for YouTube. Well, whatever. I totally get that. The fact that you are here, the fact that you are engaged in this conversation, the fact that you're giving me shit to think about, that I'm not, because I could just watch this and then have my own thoughts and whatever. But the fact that I'm here and I'm able to watch it with you guys and you can question me and I can question you, we are all doing it together. We are all getting better together. All we have to do is continue down this road, guys. We already win if we just continue down this road. So head over to the after party if you are a member. If you're not a member, you can still join the free channel in Discord and make some friends there, but you definitely don't want to come in to the after party. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this and got something out of it. And you guys are awesome. I really did have fun. So thank you so much for being here. Once again, I have been your host, Lech, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, I am out of here. Peace.